significant as far as rainfall goes. As we go through the weekend, each day gets a little bit hotter. The humidity definitely higher on Sunday with the heat index in the upper 90s. I'll look for overnight lows around 70. From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for the Fun Media Group.
The Fun Media Group presents Coach's Breakfast, celebrating a quarter century of talking football on Friday morning, live from the Huddle House, high atop Brindlee Mountain in North Alabama, and brought to you by
Alpha Insurance and agents Talisso Scheichel and Robert Baird, NHTC, the New Hope Telephone Cooperative, Marshall Medical Center's Home Health Care, DNN RV Service, Discount Building Supply in Warrington, A&D Motors on Brindlee Mountain Parkway, the Interiors Workroom in the Magnolia Plaza, Arab Towing and Muffler, Hunt's Tree Service, Twin Lakes Golf Course, and Arab Stoneworks on Sundown Drive.
Let the football talk begin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the preview hour of Coach's Breakfast, coming to you from the Huddle House, high atop Brindlee Mountain. Michael St. John, along with Ken Williams and the High School Encyclopedia, the man from the AHSFHS.org website that joins us every week, Cody Walker. This is Coach's Breakfast, second week of the high school football season. They call it week one because they can't count in Montgomery, but we can count around here. Big bevy of games on tap tonight, three of which you'll be hearing on the Fun Radio platform of stations, including the Arabian Night game against Ardmore. Hayden will be playing Fairview on 107.1 FM and on 104.9 FM. The Bryceville Bulldogs head to Springville. Let's get a menu of tonight's games in high school football that we'll be covering here on the Fun Radio Football Network.
Bartman will be traveling to Austin. Grissom will be taking on Decatur. Albertville makes the trip up to Hazel Green. Hartsville makes the trip down I-65 to take on Coleman. East Limestone will be taking on Columbia at Milton Frank. Westminster Christian taking on Douglas. Sardis will be making the trip up to Gunnersville. Crossville will be headed up to Scottsboro. Good Hope makes the trip to Brewer. Lee will be taking on Madison County. Pisgah will be headed up to North Jackson. Fogville will make the trip to Danville. West Limestone will be taking on New Hope. Ider heads over to DAR. Boaz will be headed up to Plainview. Valley Head will travel to Section. J.B. Pennington will take on in-county foe Locust Fork. Asbury will head to Brindley Mountain. Hanceville taking on Tanner. Susan Moore will be facing Southeastern. North Sand Mountain at Woodville. West Morgan will be at Madison Academy. Decatur Heritage will be taking on Donahoe. Randolph, Whitesburg Christian at Madison County Elementary School.
You're going to love the fairways in Fairview. Chesley Oaks Golf Course is open for a great round of golf anytime you want to hit the links. Located on Alabama Highway 69 between Arab and Coleman, an easy 40-minute drive from Huntsville, Birmingham, and Gadsden areas. A fully stocked pro shop, practice facility, snack bar, membership opportunities, and a golf pro to help improve your game. Book your tee time online or call ahead at 256-796-9808. Open every day from 7 till 7. Play around today at Chesley Oaks.
Looking to elevate your space? The Interiors Workroom brings the latest in custom soft furnishings, tailored to fit every lifestyle. Get ahead of the trends with home automation, from solar shades and stylish drapes to smart window coverings that control privacy, heat, and glare at the touch of a button or voice command. Visit the Interiors Workroom Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 5 or by appointment at 256-931-2577. The Interiors Workroom, your inspiration, their expertise.
DNN RV Service knows what Friday nights mean around here. They also know how important it is to get your RV back on time. Across the country, the average RV repair takes months, but at DNN RV Service, most repairs are finished in about 10 days. Why? They stock the parts other shops have to order. For over 30 years, DNN certified technicians have kept RVs on the road. Their shop was built by the two-time national champion RV technician, and they're committed to getting you back where you belong, on the road and at the campground. DNN RV Service, 256-571-9399.
This is Wes here with 107.1 WRAB, talking with Coach Simmons, Fairview High School. Coach, last week's football season opener was an exciting one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better/worst way to start a season. First 3.5 quarters were abysmal. And so I told somebody after the game, I said, my blood pressure was high the whole game. The first 3.5 quarters because I was mad, and the last half quarter was from excitement. So it's a heck of a way to start the season, though. It was a fun game. Well, the biggest thing defensively I felt like was we played the run really well. And I think we held them in check for the most part in the run game, but we had 3 major hiccups with our coverage. And so they were just legit bust where we didn't cover the right guy, was in the wrong coverage. So that's something that was a problem with us last year. So that's something we're still trying to work through and getting. I told the coaches, I said, either we ain't coaching it right or they ain't understanding it, but something's got to get fixed on that end as far as just the busted coverages. Run fitting, I thought, was pretty good, and that's something we've done well. We got those interior guys are the ones who have the most experience coming back. So the edge guys, those secondary guys, are the ones who don't have quite as much experience. So you could tell that the other night. But spent a lot of time yesterday and today on it, I assure you.
We've talked about the first 3.5 quarters wasn't what we expected. Give me your thoughts on the last 6 minutes of the ball game.
Well, honestly, and we challenged them at halftime. And I remember last year during the Sardis game, we were struggling just like we were the other night. And I told them that night, I said, listen, what we do with Fairview is we're known for those second half, stay with it and coming back. And I said, it ain't pretty right now. I said, but we're going to win the game. How we win is determined by y'all. And so it's kind of what we told them the other night. We feel like we got a good chance at the game. So kind of challenge them. There's nobody else playing. It's just y'all. So the challenge was, are you going to step up to it like the teams in the past have, or are you going to lay an egg right here? So I think they kind of rose up to that. I felt like our conditioning came into play. But then you just kind of saw that same grit that we've had in the past where we just, in our minds, thought that we were going to win the game. And that's something it's hard to coach that. That's just a self-belief, a discipline the kids have where they just feel like they're always in it and got a shot to win. If they can hang on to the end, they feel like they got a shot to win. I think that kind of showed there toward the end.
What is kind of the game plan going into this week? What are you want to see from your guys? What are you working on to get better with your guys, knowing that it's a different atmosphere, it's a different game, it's a different opponent? They might be better, and sometimes they might be worse than your previous opponent. But what is the preparations like this week for Hayden?
Well, really for us, and I know it's going to sound weird, but like it's kind of to their advantage in that they're a heavy pass team, and we struggle in the secondary. So that kind of leans itself for them. That's kind of to their advantage. So for us this week, cleaning the secondary stuff up, because like I said, last week was 3 busted coverages, whether we were in the wrong coverage or covered the wrong guy. So you fast forward this week, and then you got a team throwing the ball, 70% of the time, and the quarterback's very accurate. And then they got receivers that are quick, got some speed, run good routes, and the concepts are good. So that's a perfect storm for them, in my opinion. So for us, we're going to spend a lot of time this week in the secondary cleaning up some of the mistakes that we made, because their advantage is throwing the football, and like I said, our disadvantage is our secondary right now. So getting all that straightened out this week is going to be a challenge because they present a problem for us.
Offensive wise, I know that you got 2 workhorses as your running back. I know the decision's pretty hard, but are you going to lean on your running backs like you did last week, or are you going to try to air it out a little more?
Yeah, and I told him, I said, let's don't make no mistake about it. We've kind of found that MO that we have for us, and we're a run team, and we're going to throw the football because you have to. But Connor, our quarterback, is a good quarterback. So it's not that we're not throwing it because he's not good. He's good. He didn't play the best the other night as far as the pass game, but his competitor ran the ball really well, made good decisions, ended up throwing the game-winning touchdown pass. But we operate better when we're running the football efficiently, and with 3 or 4 guys that can come in and give you reps and keep people fresh, and all of them have the ability to break it at any point. That's something you need to lean on. Even if you wasn't a heavy run team, that's something you would lean on. So that works in our favor for what we do, and so that's kind of what we're going to stick with. That we're going to be a heavy run team.
I know last week we talked about you wanted to see your offensive line do what they do, but also you wanted to see, as the quarterback standpoint, you wanted to see improvement in him, but you also wanted to see improvement from your defense as well. Going into this week, is there any changes of who you're wanting to see execute better, or who you're excited to watch this?
Well, and this, I guess, is a little different, but we actually have a couple guys that we want to see that didn't play as much last week, that we feel like when they did get in, showed us a little bit of something, and then they actually played in the JV game last night and stood out. So I told them last night, some of those guys are earning playing time that we didn't really expect. So from a starting standpoint, we obviously still got to get a little bit better up front, even though they played well. Defensively, we got to get some better fits with our linebackers and obviously secondary. But I think we found a few guys that we can help plug some holes as well that can at least get in the rotation for us, and I think give us a little bit of depth. And depth has been a problem for us.
What is kind of the game plan going into this week? What do you want to see from your guys? What are you working on to get better with your guys, knowing that it's a different atmosphere, it's a different game, it's a different opponent? They might be better, and sometimes they might be worse than your previous opponent. But what is the preparations like this week for Hayden?
Well, really for us, and I know it's going to sound weird, but like it's kind of to their advantage in that they're a heavy pass team, and we struggle in the secondary. So that kind of leans itself for them. That's kind of to their advantage. So for us this week, cleaning the secondary stuff up, because like I said, last week was 3 busted coverages, whether we were in the wrong coverage or covered the wrong guy. So you fast forward this week, and then you got a team throwing the ball 70% of the time, and the quarterback's very accurate, and then they got receivers that are quick, got some speed, run good routes, and the concepts are good. So that's a perfect storm for them, in my opinion. So for us, we're going to spend a lot of time this week in the secondary cleaning up some of the mistakes that we made, because their advantage is throwing the football, and like I said, our disadvantage is our secondary right now. So getting all that straightened out this week is going to be a challenge, because they present a problem for us.
Coach, it was great talking with you tonight. Looking forward to see what we do this Friday against Hayden.
All the innovation in the world today is nice and all, but at Huddle House, we think there's no equal to a good old classic. Our 2+2+2+1 meal is your ticket to a down-home classic and money-saving value for your wallet. Get 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, 2 pieces of toast, and hot hash browns, all cooked how you want it, for just $4.99. Like I said, there's just no equal to a good old classic. Huddle up and grab yours today at Huddle House. Open 7 days a week in Arab, Albertville, Gunnersville, and Boaz.
It's football time in Alabama. Our students are learning big American lessons. You can start with your God-given talents, and through practice, hard work, and sacrifice, you have the ability to become champions. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. May God bless all of our students representing our high schools during this season, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Life is full of milestones, and the right insurance helps protect every one of them. With a unique coverage for your home, auto, life, business, farm, or health, Delisa Scheichel with Alpha Insurance is here to help you find protection that fits your life and your budget. Friendly local service and coverage you can count on. Delisa is committed to helping you protect what matters most. Call Delisa Scheichel at Alpha Insurance today, 256-796-1093, or drop by 10631 U.S. Highways 278 Holly Pond and discover peace of mind that comes with having a trusted insurance partner on your side.
That's life with Alpha.
Welcome back to Coach's Breakfast, coming to you live from the Huddle House. We'll be there at 7 o'clock this morning, and the coach will be joining us, Coach Matt Plunkett. A lot of special guests. Fairview head football coach Simmons is going to join us. Coach Snyder from Ardmore, the Arab Knights coach Kyle Routon, and we have a special guest today after a very, very special win last week. DAR gets on the field finally. Coach Matt Putnam starting his 3rd year with the Patriots. There's a lot to look forward to with DAR.
DAR has been on a team on the rise, but now they get an Eider Hornets team coming in off of a 34-0 win in the first one. So I think this is going to be a little bit different than people would have thought coming in. Both these teams had 2 wins a season ago.
Had an opportunity to talk to the head football coach, Matt Putnam, of the DAR Patriots about tonight's game. Welcome back into Coach's Breakfast as the New Hope Telephone Company presents our interview with the head football coach of the DAR Patriots, Coach Matt Putnam. Coach, you got to be anxious. You saw a lot of your friends start their season last week. You get the chance to do it against an Eider team that picked up a big win.
You know, we started our season off with an open week this year. We had our jamboree and gave us another week to heal and, kind of get ready for Eider. They've got a good football team, and Coach Clements and his staff do a great job. We look forward to a pretty good game Friday night.
Now, this is the first time I think these two schools have ever met on the football field, even though they're fairly proximity from one mountain to another, if you would, here in Northeast Alabama.
I had no idea that was part of it. I've known Josh for a long time. We've coached together on a couple staffs, so we picked this game up, just out of mutual respect.
That's a great way to schedule a game, and I know with Eider coming to town, they'll bring a lot of good fans, and DAR, all the folks on Grant Mountain are all excited about you and this football team this year. So Eider starts out last week with a big shutout win over Valley Head. The boys up the mountain against the boys down in the valley. Coach Clements got a big win. Did you have an opportunity by chance to check out the film or check out that game?
We've seen a little bit. They're pretty good. They triple option team. They're getting better at it. This is their second year at it, so their kids execute really well. We've got our hands full.
These two schools sort of mirror each other in the fact that I hate to use the word rebound, but I will. Rebound seasons for both of you guys. A lot of young players have begun to develop with that triple option offense they have. A lot of misdirection they use.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely tricky, and you've got to be disciplined. You got to be physical, too, because they kind of hit you in the mouth sort of football. So it's probably going to be a quick game because we both run the ball a lot, so we may be done by 8:30. So who knows?
We'll look for the fun final on that. Coach, talk about a little bit about your team. You guys have been preparing for this. You had that off week. You had that jamboree. Your thoughts going into the game tonight?
The biggest issue that we had in the jamboree was just self-inflicted wounds. We dropped a few snaps. We had some guys going the wrong way a few times. We're breaking in new starters at quarterback. Guys moving positions from offensive line to a tight end. Nothing major. It was just basically a clean it up sort of thing. So last 2 weeks, we've been really trying to work on execution, just working on us. Of course, we have to prepare for what Eider does too. So that's our biggest issue. Our guys have worked really, really hard. It's just we've got to clean up the mistakes a little bit.
Head football coach of the DAR Patriots, Coach Matt Putnam, joining us. Coach, what's your thoughts tonight on what it's going to take to win this game? I know the atmosphere is going to be electric. First game of the season. Fans are ready for it. Kids are ready for it. I guess they get a little anxious seeing a lot of their friends that play at other schools start a week before they do. Your thoughts going into this game on what it's going to take?
Well, I probably sound like every other high school coach in America. It comes down to, can your kids execute your game plan? Can we block? Can we tackle? Are we going to run to the football? And how many mistakes are we going to make? So that's kind of what it all boils down to. It's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that makes the fewest mistakes.
It's always a big night when it's the first night and the first home game for the DAR Patriots on Grand Mountain. Coach, want to wish you the best of luck. We'll be keeping up with that game quarter by quarter on our in-game scoreboard. And, of course, we'll have all the details on our Play Well Performance post-game pulse here on Fun Radio. And, Coach, we want to thank you for being with us and thank the folks at the New Hope Telephone Company for bringing you this interview each and every week with the head football coach of the DAR Patriots. Coach Putnam, best of luck. Hope to talk to you next week 1-0.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fun Radio Traffic now.
Some extremely dense fog this morning. Just depends on where you're at. Like coming out of 31 and 20, coming out of Decatur is just a major mess fog-wise. Traffic down to a crawl. You just can't see very far. Same thing on Highway 67, 565 in different places. Just be careful as you're heading out. We're also looking at some dense fog over on the Shoals and over in Scottsboro and between Scottsboro and Huntsville and up in Arab. Keep the seatbelts buckled. Be careful. We are accident-free. From the Tennessee Valley Traffic Center, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
Hey, we're back with you on Coach's Breakfast from the Huddle House. Michael St. John, along with Big Ken. Cody Walker will be joined by a host of other folks that's coming our way today as we get ready for another great Friday of high school football. Lots of games will follow tonight on the Gilbert and Ball Ford in-game scoreboard. During the in-game broadcast, Arab and Ardmore on Fun 92.7. Fairview taking on the Hayden Wildcats of Coach Chad Eads tonight. That will be on 107.1 and on Fun Radio 104.9 FM. The Priceville Bulldogs will be in action as they take on the Springville Tigers. Big Ken Williams, you had a chance to talk to the head football coach of the Pennington Tigers. I know last week, a letdown. They play Holly Pond first time in a long time, and Holly Pond had their way with the Pennington Tigers. I think Coach is looking to erase that one out of everybody's mind.
Coach Cantrell, as expected, talked about the fact that he had had a talk with his players, and they were correcting some things that happened to them and looking forward to a better week. This week's going to be another challenge for them. They're actually playing Locust Fork, and it's going to be another home game for them.
Here's what the coach had to say.
Coach, tell us, how was the game last week?
I didn't go the way we wanted. Holly Pond handled us very well. They were true competitors, and, I didn't have them ready as a head coach. Our guys, we did not compete at a high level, of course, and we're going back to the drawing board this week. We've got really good kids, and it's my job as a head coach to have them compete every play, which is the battle. And then the war is the end of the game, the entire game. So we've got to win every play, every battle. And that's my job, to get the guys to perform.
Who's your opponent this week coming up?
We have the Locust Fork Hornets, which is in our county here in Blount County. I consider it a big rivalry. Coach Adams has done a great job there. They've got a rich history of being physical and strong. They're coming off of a loss against Appalachian, but Appalachian is no pushover for sure. And we'll have our work cut out for us. We want to go and compete and be true competitors against Locust Fork this week.
So what are the keys now to the game for this week?
I think really, we can talk about scheme all we want, but it's blocking and tackling. But also it is being a true competitor. And the true competitor will win this week. And we're going back to the drawing board as a team. And we want to win a football game, but we want true competitors every play, everywhere. And that's our goal for this week.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Good luck to you on Friday night against the Locust Fork.
Thank you, sir.
All the innovation in the world today is nice and all, but at Huddle House, we think there's no equal to a good old classic. Our 2+2+2+1 meal is your ticket to a down-home classic and money-saving value for your wallet. Get 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, 2 pieces of toast, and hot hash browns, all cooked how you want it, for just $4.99. Like I said, there's just no equal to a good old classic. Huddle up and grab yours today at Huddle House. Open 7 days a week in Arab, Albertville, Gunnersville, and Boaz.
When storms strike, fallen trees can cause serious damage to homes, property, and power lines. Don't wait for disaster. Call Hunch Tree Service. With 31 years of experience in tree removal, trimming, and stone grinding, we guarantee quality work and complete cleanup. Fully licensed and insured, we prioritize safety and professionalism on every job. Don't go out on a limb yourself. Trust your local tree experts. Hunch Tree Service is here for you. Find them on Facebook and call for a free estimate at 256-302-0006.
There is nothing in this life more difficult than coping with the loss of a loved one. Hello, I'm Keenan Warren of Arab Stoneworks. When you are ready to look for memorial options, come see me at 671 Sundown Drive. We will sit down together and start with a blank slate. We design and produce only what you want. Nothing more, nothing less. Please visit our website at arabstoneworks.com. We make custom memorials for custom individuals. Arab Stoneworks.
Welcome back into Coach's Breakfast, coming to you live from the Huddle House in about 20 minutes from right now. I'm Michael St. John, along with Cody Walker and Big Ken Williams. Tonight, the New Hope Indians, fresh off of a big win last week at Ohatchee on the road, 23-16. Coach Peavy happy to get that first win behind him as the new head coach of the New Hope Indians. This week, they get to come home, and believe it or not, the field got finished. They worked literally 24 hours a day during the week to get the field finished. So the field will be dedicated prior to the game. And, of course, the New Hope Indians will take on a very, very comparable opponent tonight as they take on the West Limestone Wildcats. First time these two teams have ever met. That's a little odd because you would have thought that these two teams would have crossed paths somewhere, even within the postseason.
These two teams were separated. West Limestone's always having to go to the west, and New Hope's kind of always in the northeast sections there. But yes, like you said, the first ever meeting between these two programs, play in front of their home fans on their home field after that big, exciting overtime win against Ohatchee, where it come down to the very wire. And their quarterback really showed a lot of toughness getting that winning touchdown down there on the creek bank.
I can assure you that Coach Peavy was happy with the result, but not happy in the way it got there, because I think he thinks his team could have played a lot better. Let's look to see what kind of progress this football team makes this week as they hit the new turf at New Hope Stadium against West Limestone. The New Hope Telephone Company and Fun Radio proud to get the interview with the head football coach of the 1-0 New Hope Indians. Big win in overtime last week at Ohatchee. And first of all, Coach Scott Peavy, always a pleasure. You got to put a smile on your face from how gritty your players played on the road.
Yeah, anytime you can go into somewhere that's got a rich tradition of football and real history there, then they love football in Ohatchee, and you can go in there and find a way to come out with a win is a big day.
That's a noisy place. You got a lot of folks on the fence there yelling in your ear. Everybody's they feel like they're right on top of you. And to win in overtime, the first game of the season, what does that say to your football players? What does that say about your football team?
We had an opportunity to win it in regulation. We drove it down, put it on the 4 with 1 second left, and missed it. And, it seemed like it was not going to turn out well for us, but our kids really, over time, played really, really hard and just found a way to win. So, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them not giving up when we had some real adversity there and didn't capitalize. And we just found a way to play the next play and be successful.
It's always a good sign when you get that first one under your belt. Now you get second week of the season. Coaches say it's old coach speak that you see more improvement from week 1 to week 2 because your players have been under fire for a week, and a little extra effort, of course, down there with the overtime. But this week you get West Limestone. Now, I know with your field in the condition, you're getting a turf field sooner or later, but in the field, that's the condition of the field. Where's this game going to be played?
They finished it. They just finished it. We were able to practice on it yesterday.
Wow.
And they're pouring concrete around the edge today and putting up a fence, and we're going to play at home, and we'll have a ribbon cutting ceremony and youth night all together. So it's going to be a big day for New Hope.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Coach, and congratulations and thank you to that construction crew. That I was out there last week, and I went, this is a month away. My goodness, that is excellent.
They've been working, around the clock, been turning on the lights, working at night, and really getting after it. So, yeah, we're super excited, and, it was a really good day for us to get out there and work on it yesterday, too, and so, so it's going to work out.
It'll make a very special place to play even more special with the new turf. And you'll break it in against the West Limestone Wildcats of Coach Shelby Davis. What do you know about this football team from Lester, Alabama?
Very little. They didn't play last week. That coach has been there for a lot of years, trying to search around and talk to coaches and things like that and find out, what people think. But we know very little about them, which is very unnerving. You wish that they had played so we could swap film. I guess we're going to find out on the run, and hopefully we can make some adjustments on the run and give us a chance to be successful.
Coach Davis is going to be playing on your brand new turf. He gets brand new turf next year along with East Limestone and Ardmore, so I'm sure it's something that he will look forward to. This is a football team that Coach Davis is always, as I understand and what I have seen of West Limestone, what they do is what they do, and they just line it up and tell you to come after them.
Yeah, again, from the history of it, we're just kind of relying on that. And, they do a lot offensively. They do a lot of stuff, and they're very well coached. And, I know they have a returning quarterback, and he's a really good player. He's capable of running. They got a really good running back and a receiver that are all back. And, that's kind of just what we found out through the internet, trying to research some things. But, if they do what they've been doing, they do a lot of things offensively to keep you off balance. It feels like they've developed an identity, offensively, and it's going to be a challenge to defend them for sure. But I don't know much about them defensively. In the years past, they've been real physical up front, play really downhill at the linebackers position. So. If that history, repeats itself, it's going to be a tall challenge for us for sure.
First time ever these two schools have ever got together to meet in football, so it should be an interesting 7 o'clock kickoff at New Hope Stadium. Talk a little bit about your football team. What did you learn about them last week and some of the players that showed you something special?
We learned that we have to do a better job of taking care of our bodies because we cramped a lot. And I like to think new turf, and we hadn't been on it. Yesterday we went out to our turf, and it was 151 degrees, and then we went to our practice field, and it was 99 degrees. So probably the difference in us cramping last week and is, I like to think it was just playing on a hot surface that we weren't used to, and they were. So probably have to do a better job with our hydration and things like that leading up to the game. But, I found out that our quarterback is a true competitor. He's a leader on this team, and he was calling kids out to continue to keep playing and keep fighting. And, even though things weren't great for him at times, he seemed to make a big play every time we needed one. And then in overtime, we gave it to him 3 straight plays, and he scored. And, he had to play some free safety, which he hasn't done in his whole career, just to give us a chance to finish the game and be successful. And, he did a fantastic job of that. So super proud of him. And, when our line was intact and not cramping, we have an opportunity to be pretty good up front if we will continue to work hard and do those things, because we're really big up front. So I was proud of those guys for pushing through. And we had an inside linebacker who had 15 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, a sack, a forced fumble that we scored on. He had a big night as well. His name's Brody Gowan, and super proud of him. And he's just a sophomore, so we got big things to come from him as well. So. And then Max Baker, replaced our running back, and he's a 2-way player for us, just a sophomore too, and did a fantastic job doing that as well. So a lot of great efforts. Landon Tate had a huge night for us. He had a big touchdown reception. I want to say he had 140 yards receiving, a touchdown, and he also had 14 tackles at safety. So, another kid that's young, he's a sophomore, and his career is going to be really, really good here. So, those guys played well. I'm probably forgetting some other guys, but as a team effort, just finding a way to win was awesome.
Coach, always great to get your first win at a new place, and as this team continues to grow, we'll talk with you each week and get the latest. But best of luck on the new turf at New Hope Stadium tonight against West Limestone. Look forward to talking to you next week, and best of luck to you.
Well, I appreciate it, and again, thank you so much for our coverage. Our community is awfully glad that people are highlighting our kids, so thank you.
God bless you, Coach. Talk to you next week. Coach Scott Peavy of the New Hope Indians going into a big game tonight against West Limestone. The Wildcats come to town, first time ever. Should be a good one on the new turf. We'll be back after this. You're listening to Coach's Breakfast, the Scott Peavy New Hope Indian interview brought to you by your New Hope telephone company.
For 75 years, NHTC has proudly kept our communities connected. Enjoy blazing fast fiber internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and dependable telephone service, all backed by a trusted local all-fiber provider. We're committed to bringing you the latest technology while continuing to serve and strengthen the communities we call home. Experience the difference local service makes. Call 256-723-4211 or visit nhtc.coop today. Let NHTC serve you.
All the innovation in the world today is nice and all, but at Huddle House, we think there's no equal to a good old classic. Our 2+2+2+1 meal is your ticket to a down-home classic and money-saving value for your wallet. Get 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, 2 pieces of toast, and hot hash browns, all cooked how you want it, for just $4.99. Like I said, there's just no equal to a good old classic. Huddle up and grab yours today at Huddle House. Open 7 days a week in Arab, Albertville, Gunnersville, and Boaz.
When it's time to build, remodel, or repair, your store for all is Discount Building Supply. They have everything you need. Quality lumber and building materials, paint and supplies, electrical and plumbing items, plus windows, doors, and cabinets, all in one convenient location. Whether you're a contractor or a weekend handyman, Discount Building Supply provides you great service and dependable products. Open Monday through Friday, 7 till 5, Saturdays till noon. Discount Building Supply, Gunnersville. Build it right from the start.
Cars you can trust, come take a drive.
Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Harlow, your hometown car gal. You don't have to drive far to find a great deal. At A&D Motors, we're your locally owned, buy here, pay here dealership for over 30 years, and we stand behind every vehicle we sell. Finance with us and get a free limited warranty. Visit the car gals at A&D Motors on the Parkway in Arab, your one-stop dealership.
So come on down, let's take a spin with A&D Motors, you sure to win.
From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, here's your Fun Radio forecast. Well, as we finish out this work week, finish out the month of August, we got a dry weekend ahead. Real nice weather, sunshine. Today, a bit of a northerly breeze, probably the best breeze we've had all week, around 7. And doubtful we'll see anything significant as far as rainfall goes. As we go through the weekend, each day gets a little bit hotter. The humidity definitely higher on Sunday with the heat index in the upper 90s. Look for overnight lows around 70. From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for the Fun Media Group.
This weather update is brought to you by ProTech Roofing, providing quality roofing and exterior services you can trust. Visit them at 219 Plaza Drive in Arab next to Clean Right Cleaners. When it comes to protecting your home, trust the pros at ProTech Roofing.
Hello, this is Chase Cole of ProTech Roofing and Exteriors. Chances are your roof has not been inspected for weather damage within the last 5 years. With all the weather events throughout the Tennessee Valley this storm season, give us a call at 256-640-8091 or check us out on Facebook to schedule your free consultation. From asphalt shingles to metal roofing, we've got the solutions to keep your home safe and dry. ProTech Roofing and Exteriors.
Alabama Home Builder License number 28892. License bonded and insured.
You're listening to the award-winning Coach's Breakfast. Michael St. John along with Big Ken and Cody Walker. By the way, lots of great games on tonight. You'll be able to follow them as they play out on the Gilbert and Ball Ford in-game scoreboard, quarter-by-quarter scores of all the game. The Brewer Patriots are in action tonight, and they've got a tough test on their hands as Good Hope comes to town. Good Hope sure has new hope on this season. They went to the semis last year. They get Brewer this week at Brewer. It's going to be a tough game for the Patriots.
Yeah, the last time these two teams played was 1993, but these two programs are not unfamiliar to each other because they do cross paths in middle school and JV, so these players know each other. Good Hope coming off of a loss against the team that knocked out of the playoffs last year in Plainview, and now this is a region matchup right off the bat for Brewer, a tough turnaround. They're going to be in region for the rest of the season. From here on out, it's going to be region games. Coach Miller was really optimistic in some of the things that he saw, but the score on the board says a different story there, and it's really a question of cleaning up the mistakes that they made against Priceville to turn this team around and this season around.
Good Hope, why are they so good every year?
Yeah, you got two county schools in very similar situations between Brewer and Good Hope in that they have large areas that they pull from with a lot of feeder systems coming in. I think what you were alluding to there with Good Hope is that they're all on one campus, and that's one of the things that they're wanting to get started there at Brewers.
Well, back in the day, they'd call these two schools country schools, and they are. They're out in the counties. They don't have a town to be associated with. And Ken, I know in this day and time that can be a detriment, but perhaps in Good Hope's case, it's proven to serve them well.
In the area that they're at, it served them quite well. And now you look at the opposite there with Brewer. Brewer struggles with getting some good players, although, like Cody said, the score says one thing, but Brewer gave it their all. I mean, they just played a good Priceville team.
Cody Walker had a chance to talk to the head man with the Brewer Patriots, Jordan Miller, to find out his thoughts about tonight's game against the Good Hope Raiders.
Coach, is there anything that you really take away from that week 0 matchup against Priceville, or you just kind of throw that tape in the bin and just move on to the next week?
You find some positives in. I mean, we're a young team. We knew that going in. We knew that it was going to be a learning curve, especially up front for us and in a few other positions as well. So what we take from it is we had some bright spots at different times. We got a turnover at a key time, just couldn't punch it in. Had a few times where it was one block, one catch, one run correct, or anything like that, one away from being where we want to be. So we take that as a positive. I mean, of course, there was some big needs that just was because of youth. Some stuff that may be just understanding the pace of a game like that to maintain that physicality on a normal basis. That was really what you take away from it. And, of course, it is a 24-hour rule. We're done with Priceville. It's time to move on to Good Hope.
Yeah, and you talk about Good Hope. It's a region matchup now, and a lot of the state is already. They're still in non-region play, but now you turn around and you're in region play right off the bat here with a quick turnaround against a good opponent.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of respect for Coach Scott and his team. I mean, we're always going to give our opponent respect. We feel good with what going into this game. We feel like we can do some things to really build off what positives we saw to get our team as explosive as it should be, and so because we've got a lot of guys that can
play. And playing a team like Good Hope, they've got some guys that are new to their team. They graduated a bunch of guys as well last year. They played a very good Plainview team. So it's going to be one of those deals. Will our guys go out and execute the game plan put before them? And if they'll do that, we'll be in good spots to be in that game and hopefully win it.
Yeah, and this is the first matchup for Brewer and Good Hope since 1993. Yes. But this is not going to be an unfamiliar team to these players, because y'all played in JV and middle school games against these same kind of guys. So we'll kind of talk about how maybe that familiarity with seeing these guys before for your team might impact the game.
Oh, it's huge. Just Good Hope lost a few players, not only to graduating but to transfers as well. But overall, it is definitely big. Them seeing them in middle school, seeing them in JV, knowing what to kind of expect. Because again, we can show them on film, we can show them exactly what they're covering on defense and stuff like that. But just having the knowledge of the opponent a little bit does give them, I would say, a kind of calming effect.
Yeah, and talk about here, you're going to be at home, James Tucker Stadium, for the first time this season. Just talk about being in front of your home crowd and kind of that electricity that you're expecting on Friday night.
I'm hoping that it brings what we needed to bring to the players, being in front of the home crowd, being at home, be calmer. It's not a rivalry game like Priceville where you've got the jawing, you've got the after whistle activities and stuff like that came with Friday night. This one's a little bit different. Not saying that any of that won't happen, but it's not at the same level. And just being at home, sometimes young teams play better at home, and we'll see if that's the case for ours.
All right, thanks for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
All the innovation in the world today is nice and all, but at Huddle House, we think there's no equal to a good old classic. Our 2+2+2+1 meal is your ticket to a down-home classic and money-saving value for your wallet. Get 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, 2 pieces of toast, and hot hash browns, all cooked how you want it, for just $4.99. Like I said, there's just no equal to a good old classic. Huddle up and grab yours today at Huddle House. Open 7 days a week in Arab, Albertville, Gunnersville, and Boaz.
Protect what matters most with Alpha Insurance and local agent Robert Baird. Located at 68836 South Main in Bloomsville, Robert offers dependable life, home, and auto insurance coverage backed by friendly local service you can trust. Whether it's your family, your home, or your vehicle, Robert Baird is here to help you find the coverage that fits your needs. Call Alpha Insurance agent Robert Baird today at 205-421-3007 for a free quote. Alpha Insurance and Robert Baird.
That's life with Alpha. When it's time to build, remodel, or repair, your store for all is Discount Building Supply. They have everything you need. Quality lumber and building materials, paint and supplies, electrical and plumbing items, plus windows, doors, and cabinets, all in one convenient location. Whether you're a contractor or a weekend handyman, Discount Building Supply provides you great service and dependable products. Open Monday through Friday, 7 till 5, Saturdays till noon. Discount Building Supply, Gunnersville. Build it right from the start.
DNN RV Service knows what Friday nights mean around here. They also know how important it is to get your RV back on time. Across the country, the average RV repair takes months, but at DNN RV Service, most repairs are finished in about 10 days. Why? They stock the parts other shops have to order. For over 30 years, DNN certified technicians have kept RVs on the road. Their shop was built by the 2-time national champion RV technician, and they're committed to getting you back where you belong, on the road and at the campground. DNN RV Service, 256-571-9399.
Before we get on for our Coach's Breakfast live from the Huddle House, a very special opportunity arose this week. Columbia High School out of Huntsville broke the longest high school losing streak in the nation last week. A Saturday night game against Greensboro, and they not only won, they won big. Cody, I made a prediction last week on Coach's Breakfast that Columbia would win a football game this year. I didn't think they'd do it in the fashion that they did it last Saturday night.
That was an incredible game. To be on a Saturday night, I had a chance to watch that game. The difference in 1 year to the next for this Columbia team is night and day. And that's a credit to Coach Coates, and office coordinator Andrew Williams is there as well, getting them in the weight room and getting some transfers coming in that have really made this team look very different. And, credit to Greensboro for coming up and taking this game. I mean, it was a long trip for them, and nobody wanted to be that first team to have that loss, but, credit to them for coming up and taking that game. But turn the page, and now they get East Limestone this week. Columbia does. They're only a 2-point underdog in this game.
I think Coach realizes that his biggest task at hand is to get the guys off the ceiling and back to the floor and get their feet back on the ground. But I had the opportunity, coming back from my visit to Ardmore High School the other day, to stop into Columbia and visit with Coach Coates, visit with Coach Andrew Williams, and it is a different program both inside and out. The facility has made a magnificent turnaround. I'm thrilled to death for this football team. Very special treat here on Coach's Breakfast. I'm with the head football coach of the Columbia Eagles, Coach Sammy Coates. And first of all, Coach, congratulations. You made history.
Well, the players made history. All we did was get them preparation, prepare them for the game, but they had to go out there and finish the deal, play their heart out, and that's what they did. They didn't fold when it was down 14-0. They kept their heads high. They didn't argue amongst each other. They showed me in that game how close they became as a team, and they continue to grow every week.
Coach, I've been on this campus many a time, and I step on campus and I meet Coach Andrew Williams, who I knew over at Danville, known even before that. Coach, I get a different feeling here than a feeling I've had in 20 years on this campus.
Oh, man, it's been a great atmosphere. We've got great administration. They've been doing a great job. Being supportive not only to football but all athletes and showing the kids they really care, showing that it is important and you got to take it serious that you're a student first, but we also love that you're an athlete, and that's been one of the biggest messages Dr. Richard has been preaching to us. He's going to have our back as long as we do our part and helping them keep pushing themselves academically. So I just think everybody in the building, from the cafeteria workers to the maintenance workers to the custodian, everybody has been so much love and so much supporters this year. It just feels like a special place and some special things coming to them.
There's a good new feeling here, and I think you're the center of it, and God bless you for it. Coach, I got to ask you, anybody you want to mention on the radio that did a number for you last week to help you make history?
You know what? First of all, I'm going to give all the credit to God. Without him, none of this would be possible with none of our players, and they feel the same way. But we had some guys that stepped up big time for us. We had number 2, Christian Richardson, the running back. He was awesome. Number 15, our quarterback, Deuce Wilson, he was awesome. We had some young guys on the defense side of the ball, caught some picks that should have had like 1 or 2. Jarvis Banks, great football players. A 10th grader, going to be a phenomenal football player in the future. Aiden McCorkle, he's our safety. He's played well. It's so hard to pinpoint 1 or 2 guys because everybody did something in that game to stand out. Number 4, our receiver, he stepped up. He made some small mistakes early on, dropped a few passes, but he stepped up and scored a touchdown at the end of the game. A.J. Williams made a nice catch over the middle of the field for a touchdown. Our offensive line did a good job. I don't think they gave up a sack, which is huge. It's just the little things they trying to continue to do. Man, I think we got a special group, and I think this week going to be another group of guys to step up and be the impact makers. So it's going to be a fun season. There's going to be a growing season as well as we continue to build this foundation that we're trying to build.
Coach, a lot of excitement on campus and around town and really around the country. How do you down to earth so you can go 2-0 after this week?
One of the biggest messages I ever got from a head coach is going to be Mike Tomlin. He said, you got to learn how to put them horse blinders on and block out everything else going on and just focus on what's ahead. And I've been saying that since I got here. We always going to keep them horse blinders on. We don't care about the outside noise. We don't care about anybody talking negative or positive. We got to focus on what we need to focus on moving forward and lock into each other and just keep moving forward, holding our arms locked up and go do everything we got to do. Take the coaching, take the practice, and take it to the game, and the outcome will take care of itself.
Friday morning, you made me look good, Coach. I made a prediction that Columbia was going to break the streak. Now, I've got to ask you the most important question. In your life, bigger thing in your life, to be on ESPN Sports Center as a player and making a great catch at Auburn, or to be on ESPN as a head football coach of the Eagles?
My career was amazing, but, I always tell people, man, God put me here and put me through all the things I went through in my career and all the ups and downs so I can be in a situation like this to guide young man to their destiny and their goals. And I think being a head coach has been one of the most special times of my life. I get to impact not myself but somebody else, and that's always been my dream, just to impact as many people I can and guide them and help them throughout their life like so many coaches did for me. So many people, I had so many awesome people that stepped up in my life after my dad passed, and coaches was like father figures. Christian Rowe was like a father figure. Guys that stepped in my life to become a father figure, and I want to be the same kind of person that they showed me the way to do. And I think that's the special thing in my life, is just being able to just give back to these individuals, these young men that's going to be one day be fathers and husbands, and I want to continue to do this.
If our rest of our country had that kind of attitude, Coach, and the leadership that you're showing in your young age, we'd be in much better shape. But God love you. Congratulations on your win. Looking to talk to you. We'll have you down the road playing the Arabian Nights. So
Yes,
I'll be talking to you then. But congratulations. Great job for you, your staff, and your kids.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming, and I appreciate you.
We'll be back on Coach's Breakfast.
All the innovation in the world today is nice and all, but at Huddle House, we think there's no equal to a good old classic. Our 2+2+2+1 meal is your ticket to a down-home classic and money-saving value for your wallet. Get 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, 2 pieces of toast, and hot hash browns, all cooked how you want it, for just $4.99. Like I said, there's just no equal to a good old classic. Huddle up and grab yours today at Huddle House. Open 7 days a week in Arab, Albertville, Gunnersville, and Boaz.
Mountaintop, you'll always be best flea market for me.
It's a North Alabama tradition. For over half a century, Sunday morning means a trip to the Mountaintop Flea Market. Great buys on fresh fruits, vegetables, furniture, tools, crafts, collectibles, jewelry, plants, automotive accessories, anything you want, everything you need at the lowest price anywhere. The Mountaintop Flea Market features a variety of food and beverages on site while you roam over 2.5 miles of paved, handicapped, accessible shopping. It's outdoor family fun with hundreds of dealers each and every Sunday beginning at 6 a.m. A short drive from anywhere in North Alabama and plenty of on-site free parking. Make this Sunday a fun day at your one-stop shopping stop. Your dollar goes farther at the Mountaintop Flea Market, Highway 278 just west of Atala. Online at mountaintopfleamarket.com and at Mountaintop Flea Market on Facebook.
Mountaintop, you'll always be best flea market for me. Good old Mountaintop on Sunday.
Flash Fiber is redefining what internet service means for local communities with the launch of SmartTown, a new community Wi-Fi experience that brings fast, secure connectivity beyond the walls of the home and into everyday life. Powered by Flash Fiber's all-fiber network and advanced managed Wi-Fi technology, Flash Fiber's SmartTown allows customers to stay seamlessly connected everywhere. Flash Fiber SmartTown, the next evolution of what internet providers can deliver. Get more information about Flash Fiber at jwflash.com.
Insurance can feel overwhelming when you don't know who to trust. Put your trust in Alpha Insurance, where personalized service and peace of mind come standard. Stop by and see Chance Bennett. She's ready to help you review your current coverage and find the right protection for your family and lifestyle. At Alpha, you're more than just a policy number. You're part of the community. Call Chance Bennett today at 256-586-4580 to learn more about the personalized benefits Alpha Insurance has to offer.
Alpha Insurance.
Green 18!
It's time for the Arab Knights Sideline Skinny. An inside look at tonight's game from the Gin Man Generator sideline reporter, Chris Greer.
Last week, the Arab Knights went down the mountain to play a tough Gunnersville team. When they came back up the mountain, they brought a 1-0 record with them. Getting to that point wasn't easy, as the Wildcats played them very tough for 4 quarters. In the end, the Knights found their groove and began to lean on the smaller Gunnersville team. The defense had an excellent night, and the Knights win with a 14-0 shutout. But that was week 1, and that week is in the books. This week, the next opponent for the Knights will be the Ardmore Tigers. Ardmore is a town that sits astride the Tennessee-Alabama line and has produced some fine teams in the past. Playing in 4A Region 7, the Tigers will feel that they have something to prove heading into this week's game. Coach Jonathan Snyder was 6-4 last season, narrowly missing the playoffs in 5A. But now the Tigers have dropped down to 4A and opened their season with a 27-26-point win over the East Limestone Indians. The Tigers have 18 seniors on their roster this year and are led by senior quarterback Alex King. This dual-threat quarterback is joined in the backfield by senior running back Javion Riddle, who brings a mix of raw power and breakaway speed. King has a deep group of receivers to throw to, led by junior Caden Hazelwood, who caught a 20-yard touchdown last week. The Tigers are talented and disciplined on all phases of the game, but are especially active in special teams. Last week, they scored 2 touchdowns in that phase of the game, one on a blocked punt, the other on a punt return for a touchdown. Their line is big and move well, and their defense will provide a tough test for Mason Ingram and the Arab running game. This week, the Knights will be tested. Their opponent is a good football team, but so are the Arab Knights. Against East Limestone, the Ardmore secondary was beaten by the deep pass on multiple downs. This week, I look for Tucker Willis and Julian Borjas to have big games receiving. Arab has an experienced quarterback in Nick Stevens who can spread the ball around and give a defensive coordinator headaches. He should have time to make the throws he needs playing behind a very good, very big Arab offensive line. Arab's defense last week didn't give up a point, but this week they'll be tested. Will Arab extend their unbeaten record this week? Tune in to 92.7 to find out.
Fun Radio.
The latest celebrity scoop, scandal, and sleaze.
The Funhouse Morning Show goes Hollywood with the latest entertainment news. Now here's Mike Evans.
Hey, good morning, and as we say back home in Hawaii, happy Aloha Friday. There is no doubt that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be number one again this week at the box office, but the producers can also celebrate that Brand New Day has already hit number 2 as the all-time box office movie, surpassing Avengers Endgames. Only one movie has made more money at the box office. That would be Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens. Spider-Man will pass them. It's just a matter of time. Moving news. It has been long rumored that if and when Paramount Studios leaves Hollywood, that they would be moving to Austin, Texas. However, is it true Paramount executives are now in serious talks with officials from Nashville, Tennessee about moving there instead of Texas? I'll keep you posted. Okay, and that reminds me, speaking about moving, this summer, more people are moving, according to Nationwide, U-Haul, and other moving companies. And they say the 5 most moved to cities so far this summer. Number 5, Phoenix, Arizona. Number 4, Austin, Texas. Number 3, Tampa, Florida. Number 2, Nashville, Tennessee. Number 1, Denver, Colorado. And why anybody would ever move from my original home, Hawaii, unless it's just ridiculously the high cost of living there, which it is. People in Hawaii are saying aloha. And the 5 cities they are moving to the most are number 5, Seattle, Washington. Number 4, San Diego. Number 3, Long Beach, California. And a strange one, number 2, Washington, D.C.? I don't know. Number 1, certainly no surprise. Number 1 city most moved to from Hawaii, Las Vegas, Nevada. Number 1, Las Vegas. Sports shorts. Boy, got a lot of sports to talk about. Earlier this week, I told you about some NFL players who still had college eligibility that were considering returning to college to play college football and make maybe even more money through the college. Can you hear me? NIL, the name, image, and likeness format. Well, the SEC, the Big Ten, and several other major conferences, college conferences, have stepped in and said they're not going to allow that. No way, Jose. And I'm glad to hear that. Also, sports shorts. The final Little League World Series game will be on Sunday on ABC TV. The PGA Players Championship is this weekend on ESPN and also on CBS. Oh, and by the way, the last NFL preseason games are this weekend. The first regular season NFL game is Wednesday, September 9th. And regarding the Los Angeles Lakers sale, check it out. It may be in jeopardy. There's a lot of legal problems I'm hearing about. When I find out more, I'll let you know. And there have been rumors that the Los Angeles Dodgers are for sale. I can tell you right now that is not true, 100% not true. You can take that to the bank. Have a fabulous weekend. Take care of each other. Be safe. Talk to you Monday. Mike Evans. See ya.
We are WAFN AM Summer. EN FM Priceville, Decatur, WAFN FM HD, Arab Huntsville.
Fox News Now.
Fox
News. I'm CJ Papa. 9 women, 3 men make up the jury in the judgment of Massachusetts mother charged with killing her 3 little children. They resumed deliberations at 9 a.m. Eastern.
They have a lot of work to get through. They heard from 85 witnesses over the course of this 1-month-long trial. And yesterday they heard the closing arguments from both sides. A full not guilty verdict is considered by legal experts to be unlikely, considering Clancy admits to killing her children.
That's Fox's Nate Foy outside the courthouse in that Lindsay Clancy case. President Trump pledging support for Nepal.
At least 90 U.S. citizens are still missing. And because of the destruction and weather, rescue efforts have been hindered. Dozens of bridges were decimated and some 25 miles of roads washed away.
Fox's Chandler Painter, nearly 500 are dead. America's listening to Fox News.
Traffic now.
School buses getting fired up and out on their routes. Got a little bit of fog this morning, so you'll be on the lookout for that, especially for the school buses as kids unload and load. And you may find some visibility problems, but it doesn't look too bad right now. Great on the house. From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, here's your fun radio forecast. Well, as we finish out this work week, finish out the month of August, we got dry weekend ahead. Real nice weather, sunshine. Today, a bit of a northerly breeze, probably the best breeze we've had all week, around 7. And doubtful we'll see anything significant as far as rainfall goes. As we go through the weekend, each day gets a little bit hotter. The humidity definitely higher on Sunday with the heat index in the upper 90s. I'll look for overnight lows around 70. From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for the Fun Media Group.
This weather forecast was brought to you by People's Independent Bank, building relationships to meet your total financial needs. People's Independent Bank.
At People's Independent Bank, we're here for life's big moments and all the ones in between. From flexible mortgage options with PIB Mortgage to everyday banking that fits your life, we make it easy. Visit PIBonline.com to get started today. People's Independent Bank. You'll like banking with us. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 466340.
The Fun Media Group presents Coach's Breakfast, celebrating a quarter century of talking football on Friday morning, live from the Huddle House, high atop Brindlee Mountain in North Alabama, and brought to you by
Alpha Insurance and agents Talissa Scheiko and Robert Baird. NHTC, the New Hope Telephone Cooperative. Marshall Medical Center's Home Health Care. DNN RV Service. Discount Building Supply in Warrington. A&D Motors on Brindlee Mountain Parkway. The Interiors Workroom in the Magnolia Plaza. Arab Towing and Muffler. Hunt's Tree Service. Twin Lakes Golf Course. And Arab Stoneworks on Sundown Drive.
Let the football talk begin.
Good morning, everybody, and a very, very brilliantly sunshiny day on the final Friday in August. It's football time in Alabama, and it is fun and games going on. I'm Michael St. John. A crew today for Coach's Breakfast. The coach, Matt Plunkett, my sidekick, going to run down some things with us. And, of course, the human encyclopedia of high school football. He's bona fide certified. We're calling him Flower Boy, and we're not getting into that. And our very own, I'll tell you, this is This is crazy. And the head football coach of the Brindlee Mountain Lions will join us momentarily. We've got other folks, the play-by-play man of the Fairview Aggies, but right now, between you and I, we got a football game to talk about tonight. We got a bunch of football games on tap.
Yeah, we do. It's going to be a great night of high school football. Last night, we already had some action. Huntsville gets their first win of the season, defeating May Jemison at 28-18. St. John Paul II fell at home to Rogers 56-24. We'll be keeping up on the Gilbert and Boff Ford in-game scoreboard tonight. A bunch of games, but right here on 92.7 tonight, ARAB will be hosting Ardmore. On 104.9, Priceville will be making the trip down to Springville, and Fairview will be hosting Hayden on 107.1 WRAB. And other games that you'll be hearing on the scoreboard, Sparkman will be traveling to Decatur. Grissom will be heading to Decatur. Let me backtrack. Sparkman will be heading to Austin. Grissom will be heading to Decatur. Albertville will be going up to Hazel Green. Hartselle will be taking on Coleman. Plainview will head up down to Boaz in the Pruitt Bowl tonight. East Limestone will be taking on Columbia at Milton Frank. It is going to be Westminster Christian coming down to play Douglas. Sardis will be taking on Gunnersville. Crossville will make the trip up to Scottsboro. Good Hope makes the trip to AP Brewer. It's going to be Lee taking on Madison County. Pisgah heading to North Jackson. Faultville will be heading up to Danville. West Limestone will be taking on Decatur. It's going to be Eider at DAR tonight. We also have Valley Head headed to Section. JB Pennington will be taking on Locust Fork. Asbury will be at Brindlee Mountain for homecoming. Hanceville will be taking on Tanner. Susan Moore will be headed to Southeastern. It's going to be North Sand Mountain at Woodville. West Morgan will be taking on Madison Academy. Decatur Heritage makes the trip to Donahoe. And it's going to be Randolph taking on West Whitesburg Christian at Madison County Elementary School.
Quite a lineup tonight of high school football games. Week 1, I've never understood there's a week 0. There's no such thing. But there's a week 1 as they designate it around here. And before we talk to Coach Pittman of the Brindlee Mountain Lions, Coach Matt Plunkett, of course, you've got a big game we'll talk about a little later with a county rival. County rivalries seem to be the precedent of tonight's action.
Absolutely. I'm telling you what, there's nothing better than playing in-county football. We experienced it last week with Appalachian. Huge game. Hats off to Appalachian. Absolutely fantastic team coming off a big 12-1 season last year. And really excited tonight for us to be able to play JB Pennington, another in-county game. And really, that is the big thing probably for teams in our area. A lot of county games in the Blount County area tonight. But, man, exciting lineup tonight of high school football. I'm looking forward to seeing some great teams. I'm going to call right now that Albertville is going to start out 2-0.
I think you could be right. Real quickly there, what are your thoughts on you mentioned the Pruitt Bowl. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but that's a big game. It was sort of reversed out. That game is in Rainsville. It is at Plainview Bears Stadium in Rainsville. So let's make that clear because a lot of folks had it turned around on some of the websites. You can't trust websites. You can't trust podcasts. But the game is at Plainview tonight. And the Pruitts, this is not a region game, but in the scheme of things, it's got to be a big game.
Oh, yeah. Plainview is one of the teams that's the darling of the state. Everybody's talking about how Plainview is going to just run away with their region and just start it already penciled in for the semifinals. So playing up in competition plus the family dynamics, both the coaches were dreading this game of having to play each other. And
no, they weren't. They scheduled it.
They did, but they talked like they didn't. But we'll see how it all turns out. I'm very excited about this game, and I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it.
Well, both teams are very good, strong teams, and very well coached. I personally, and I like the Pruitt family, don't get me wrong, this is a slam at anybody, but I think personally Luke Pruitt may be the best of the bunch. I really do. I've always said that. I really think that could be. We have the best of the bunch from the Brindlee Mountain Lions, a man that is turning around that program game by game, day by day. And we want to welcome in Brindlee Mountain head football coach Jake Pittman. A little bit of a stumble last week. And, you know, the dynamic, I was at Ardmore, earlier this week, talking to Coach Snyder. And he has a lot of experience. Of course, he coached at Athens High School. And we were talking about Lindsay Lane. And nobody seems to know a lot about Lindsay Lane. It's a smaller school, but it's a growing school. And it's a private school, so you step outside that public-private paradigm to take on a private school. A little bit surprising on the outcome.
Yeah, we didn't know a lot about them, like I talked about last week. But, going into that game, seeing their kids and the way they're coached, they're very well coached. They're physical, they're athletic, and they got the community involved. That night it was packed house. That was their first home game, first varsity game ever. But they showed up, and they was all on the same page. And so it was a hard-fought battle. But at the end of the day, they got the best of us of that one.
I think in years to come, I think the name Lindsay Lane is going to become synonymous with the Westminster Christians and the Madison Academies and the Randolphs and the private schools of North Alabama. Tonight, though, you get a county matchup. We're talking about county matchups being sort of the spotlight tonight. You get a school that's the same age as your school, haven't been playing football as long, has a great dynamic in basketball. But tonight, the Brindlee Mountain Lions and the Asbury Rams, a lot of folks when these schools started thought that this would become one of the big rivalries in the county. It hasn't become a rivalry. There's a rivalry, but it's sort of, it's odd. It's an odd rivalry. The DAR Brindlee Mountain rivalry, I think, is a little bit more pronounced here. But your thoughts and a situation with Asbury, sort of in the same boat. You guys are the same age, still trying to build a program.
Yeah, there's not many teams in the state that's played football less than us. I mean, there's several, but Asbury is one of those. It is good to have film. I'll say that. So now we know a little more about what to expect. We're expected to come out tonight and homecoming and show up and have a big crowd and show what we can do. Because last week was a little disappointing for us. But there's little things that we could have fixed on our end, and we've worked all week to fix that offensively, and I think we'll show up tonight and be a little bit different football team.
Coach, talk to us about this, just in a game that you really feel like if you go in and play well, protect the football, you're going to have a great chance to come out successfully, potentially. Talk to us about the trenches a little bit, your offensive line, your defensive line, how have they practiced this week, where you're at from a health standpoint. What do you feel like you need to do well in the trenches to be successful tonight?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, last week was the trenches were well, on both sides of the ball. Defensively, especially. Aiden Thornton is a 10th grader from Brindlee Mountain. I'm telling you right now, that man plays his lights out. I mean, he plays as hard as he can every play, and he's going to battle all game long. And so, we need him to show up, but we also need the rest of us to show up. And for me, I think the skill positions need to step their game up a little more than the trenches. Trenches have played well so far.
Awesome. So just combining those two facets will be huge for you guys tonight.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Talk about ball security a little bit. I know you had mentioned to me before we started the show that that's something you want to see a lot of improvement. How have you addressed that this week?
Yeah, and just more and more reps. I mean, that's the basic stuff, exchanges and things like that. We've spent extra time doing those things this week, but just trying to get back to the basics, not trying to get too fancy offensively and trying to do the things that we do well.
Well, I think that's the big thing in high school football today is teaching kids to focus on the details, protecting that football matters.
Absolutely.
You got that right, Coach. And how many times have you seen the movement of the football from one set of hands to another change the game around?
It absolutely changes the game.
They're called fumbles and interceptions. But now, Coach, talk about the Asbury Rams. I had slipped my mind, and we should have gotten Coach on here. That's my fault for not getting Coach on here from Asbury, because this is a good rivalry. These are two schools that have a lot of pride. They have a lot of following, if you would, but are two schools that are without a community, and that's an odd scenario, if you would, because when you don't have a town or a city or somebody that, right there in the heart of things, these are both rural areas, but these are two areas that have come together in a community sense. And like you say, it's going to be electric, even though it's Asbury Brindlee Mountain, and unfortunately there's not a state championship on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, rural area, but I mean, our fans, they're passionate. That's the thing. And I believe Asbury fans have got a lot of things that too. Even though county schools, we have bigger areas to cover sometimes and people are a little more spread out, but they are passionate about what they do and they'll show up tonight. And I expect a big set of fans on the other side too.
One thing is coming down the pipeline for you, and I'm part of it this year because my grandson is playing for Brindlee Mountain on the C team. And I've been to every game. And there's some young folks that are out there. If we could just feed them a lot of corn and some potatoes and get some meat in them and some meat on them, this school is going to bode well in the weeks and the months and the years to come.
Coach, when it comes down to it tonight, at the end of the game, and you look back, what do you think can be the difference tonight, the one difference you feel like you need to see out of your team?
Well, being physical, obviously. I mean, I think that's always a football game. The most physical team wins most of the time, but also taking care of that ball. Like, you know, I know that I've said that over and over, but that's all I've preached all week. So that's what I'm used to saying. But that's the main thing, is taking care of the football and being physical.
Go ahead.
No, that's just a linchpin game, too, when you think about it for both of these teams, because the schedule gets tougher after tonight. And so with that in mind, when you play this game, what is the one thing you say to them before they get out of the locker room that you want them to remember when that whistle blows to start the game?
Focus on us. I mean, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We've got to be the best we can be. That's all that matters. You know, you got to the best you can do. You got to be the best version of yourself each and every day. And that starts, you know, it started on Monday and it's worked all the way to Friday. All those days stacked together and see what we can make up tonight.
Well, you mentioned the big man on the D-line that you really feel like needs to continue to play well. Who's a skill player you'd like to highlight tonight that you'd like to see to play his best game tonight?
Ashton Gregory. That's my running back. He plays linebacker too, but I expect him to have a good game tonight. He's going to take another step up tonight. He's motivated. He's ready to go, and we expect a lot out of him tonight.
And then talk to us about one more thing. Throughout the years of my coaching career, I've always tried to think about who is that young man that you didn't expect to play well, but at the end of the season, you're like, I'm glad that young man was on our team. Who's a dark horse type kid that's maybe on the rise in your program that you'd like to see start making a name for himself?
Yeah, I've got a little, I start 3 ninth graders at receiver. Brindlee Jones being, probably one of the more with a slot guy, and I think he's a guy that can help us a lot this season. He's kind of our backup quarterback too, but he'll have a good. I think he's going to grow up a lot this year. Awesome. Ninth graders, it takes time to grow up, and we know that as coaches, but he's one of those guys that he's a gamer. He's going to play his lights out.
Oh, go ahead.
Opening home game for the Brindlee Mountain Lions. Time for the Lions family, if you would. And it is a family. I've gotten the feeling of that in the past 3 weeks. But for the Brindlee Mountain family to come together en masse, because Asbury's going to bring them over from that side of the mountain. So if Brindlee Mountain shows up en masse, you get a good crowd. The atmosphere there will be outstanding. That's got to be a motivator for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. Our kids, it's a little easier to play hard when you look up in the stands. You got a lot of people on your side. That's the thing.
Absolutely, Coach. Just looking forward, first off, to a big game tonight out of your program. Obviously, I love small level football because you got to find ways to win games when you don't have a lot of depth. Mm-hmm. What is something you feel like when you're trying to counter that lack of depth in certain positions? What is something you feel like maybe you need to do, either offense, defense, kicking game? What area do you think you need to maybe see some tremendous growth tonight in one of those 3 areas?
Yeah, for us, it's offense. Defense played really well last week. In 10 possessions, there was 5 3 and outs. So defense played well, got put in bad positions a lot, but offense is what's got to improve. That's for sure.
Head football coach of the Brindlee Mountain Lions, Coach Jake Pittman. Team's on the right track. Looking forward to a big game tonight. A win would go a long way. And best of luck as well to the Asbury Rams. Coach, always a pleasure having you. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully at 1-1.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We'll be back. Coach's Breakfast coming your way this morning from the Huddle House. There, I can smell the eggs. I can smell. Oh, no, I can smell the bacon, too. My gosh. Brought to you by our friends at A&D Motors, Marshall Medical Center's Home Care, Interiors Workroom, DNN RV Services, Discount Building Supply, Twin Lakes Golf Course, Alpha Insurance, and Agent Chance Bennett, the ARAP Towing and Muffler, ARAP Stoneworks, Hunts Tree Service, and our good congressman from the 4th District, Congressman Bob Adderholt. When we come back, turn the page and let's take a look at the Fairview Aggies. They're coming your way next. Their head coach hopefully will be here. If not, we still have an expert he's getting to be an expert. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. He's studying at the next table, and we'll have him join us as well. And this is gonna be a good one. Wesley Wilson will be joining. Wes Wilson will be joining us. We will be back with more Coach's Breakfast your way from the Huddle House right here on Fun Radio. We're Fun 92.7 FM, and we stream on the funmediagroup.com app.
It's football time in Alabama. Our students are learning big American lessons. You can start with your God-given talents, and through practice, hard work, and sacrifice, you have the ability to become champions. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. May God bless all of our students representing our high schools during this season, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
paid for by Adder Holt for Congress.
When storms strike, fallen trees can cause serious damage to homes, property, and power lines. Don't wait for disaster. Call Hunch Tree Service. With 31 years of experience in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding, we guarantee quality work and complete cleanup. Fully licensed and insured, we prioritize safety and professionalism on every job. Don't go out on a limb yourself. Trust your local tree experts. Hunch Tree Service is here for you. Find them on Facebook and call for a free estimate at 256-302-0006.
MMC Home Care at 128 North Broad Street in downtown Albertville has a friendly, compassionate, and knowledgeable staff ready to serve you or your patients with all respiratory and durable medical equipment needs. From Trilogy ventilators, CPAP, BiPAP machines and supplies, home and portable oxygen, hospital beds, wheelchairs and walkers to bath safety aids and more, MMC Home Care has the products you need. MMC Home Care has a registered respiratory therapist on staff every day. Call 256-849-0226. Most insurance is accepted and same-day delivery. Trust your locally owned and operated hometown home care. MMC Home Care.
From Coleman to Madison, Morgan, and Blount counties, we cover them all. Coach's Breakfast on Fun 92.7 HD1.
And welcome back to Coach's Breakfast, coming to you live from the Huddle House in Arab, Alabama, as we're atop Brindlee Mountain. Sun brightly shining. Weather-wise, we should have a good night for football, as long as we don't get any of those pop-up thunderstorms that delay the game by 6 hours and 22 minutes, because every time they see a flash in the sky, even if it's somebody shooting a firework, it's like, uh-oh, it's lightning. But anyway, I'm ranting a bit this morning. The coach, Coach Matt Plunkett, joining us. Coach, first of all, thank you for being with us. Let's talk a little bit about your game, because you are part of the Locust Fork family, and the Locust Fork Hornets get together and take on the the J.B. Pennington Tigers tonight. So you know a little bit about both of these teams.
Absolutely. First off, both of us are coming off of tough losses. That's the big thing. Holly Pond, we got to study them a lot in just film breakdowns this past week. But Holly Pond is much improved, which is a local team in our area, and played a really physical football game. We obviously played a really physical team in Appalachian, who's coming off a great season last year. But, man, J.B. Pennington, Locust Fork, longtime county rivals. Going to be a really, really exciting game tonight at 7 o'clock in Blountsville. And I just tell you, Coach Cantrell does a fantastic job. We got a lot of respect for him and the job that he does. He brings a lot of energy. I think the biggest challenge for us tonight is hunger. We've got to get that hunger back. I think we've lost that, the last couple of years. And we talked to the team a lot. Maybe we need to tear down that new Jumbotron, take down that new weight room and kind of get that hunger back to build our program back that we had a few years ago, because we went on a really great run there for a while. But to me, for us, it's going to come down to hunger. And I know that Coach Cantrell is telling J.B. Pennington the same thing. It's going to be the hungriest team that wants it the most, wants to get that first win, is going to win tonight.
And, of course, in-county and Blount County, there's a lot of in-county rivalries.
A lot of pride.
Speaking of a Blount County team, the Hayden Wildcats are coming to Fairview. And Coach Chad Eads, a good friend of mine, has come a long way with his football program from last year. This may be one of the youngest football teams in all the state, and I know, Wes, you've had a chance to look at their roster. I don't know if you've seen any film on them, but last week Hayden sort of misstepped, and that's the way he described it and when we talked to him. But your thoughts about tonight's game with the Fairview Aggies? We had the coach on in the first hour early on, and he mentioned the fact that they stunk it up for the first 3.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden the light went on.
The first 3.5 quarters was, as he said, abysmal. But there was a lot of bright spots within the first 3 quarters. He said the first 3 quarters were absolutely abysmal in his mind, but if you look at it, the first 3 quarters was a learning curve, because most of his kids are new. Most of them are making their first varsity start last week. And throughout the game, you saw the seniors coming together. The growth that they've had all summer finally came to a test, and they stepped up when they needed to.
Well, Fairview knows how to win games. They do not know how to lose games. And that's the biggest thing that Fairview has to their advantage. Hayden has got to figure out a way to win a game. Now, I think Hayden has got a huge roster. I think Chad Eads is a great football coach. First off, he's a great man. Absolutely fantastic man.
Absolutely.
And he's teaching those young men the right things, and it's going to come down to character. But Hayden's biggest challenge is we got to figure out a way to get a game into the fourth quarter with a team that does not know how to lose. And that's tough to beat. When you got a team like Fairview that does not know how to lose, guys, they're hard to beat.
Let me ask you this, Wes. Do you think the game last week, you were there, you witnessed it, and we talked after the game, and you were a little shell-shocked that Fairview looked the way they did early on. Do you think that was a moment in that game where the switch was turned and maybe these young folks, especially, it's a young Fairview team, they graduated a ton of folks last year, but at a moment in that game, was there a switch or something that happened that flipped that game around that could flip the season around?
Yes, once they noticed, well, after halftime, the starting running back got to come back in, and once he come back in, things started clicking on offense, more. That's not saying that the running back that was there before or was in the ball game in the first half, he was doing great, running the ball great, doing everything he needed to do. But you could see whenever all the pieces of the original starting offense were together, things started to click. But also when Fairview just realized that they could get West Point to mess up,
to create a mistake.
Yes, create mistakes. Third downs was the most hectic for West Point because every time they got on third down, they were starting to get false starts. Offense, like they would get down 3rd and 1, and then they would move back 15, 20 yards just in penalties. But I believe it was whenever the seniors' voice started stepping up and saying, "Hey, we need to win this ball game. We got a lot on the line."
Well, I followed that game a tremendous amount. I don't know if I'm on right here, Michael.
You should be.
Let's see. I followed that game. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, I think.
I followed that game tremendously and really paid attention to a lot of the stats and what was going on. And I'm just going to tell you something. Fairview, I think, was down, and tell me if I'm right, Wesley, here. Was Fairview down 14-0 or 17-0? What was the biggest deficit?
It was the biggest deficit was 19-7.
19-7. Gotcha.
Yes.
And they made a turn. I believe they got a couple defensive turnovers. Defensive rose up. But that's the thing. When you've got a team that does not know how to lose, it doesn't matter how much time's left. There we go. I think we're hitting it right there. We've got a team. When you have a team that does not know how to lose, it doesn't matter if there's 1 minute left in the game. They find a way to win, and that was the biggest thing that I was extremely impressed with Fairview. Coach Simmons and those kids, they had fight, they had hunger, and was really, really impressed with the Fairview Aggies finding a way to win that game last Friday night.
Me and Coach talked, and in the last 6 minutes of the ball game, we started the last 6 minutes of the ball game down 19-7. We got our offense started rolling. We started making plays, and a couple big catches in the possession. It started to bring the kids back up. Yeah. The energy started to rise, and when they scored that touchdown to go down 19-13, you could just see, okay, we might have a chance to win this.
The momentum changed.
Well, they got the ball back with 1:20 left in the fourth quarter, and they were like, "Oh yeah, with short field." They went down there and scored another touchdown, kicked a field goal. Nobody realized that the ball ricocheted off the left
upright.
Yeah, left upright, and ricocheted into the goal.
Oh, wow.
And so that kind of like, okay, we got this. 13 seconds left. They run an offensive play, and our outside linebacker / strong safety walked down, and he intercepted the ball, and then coach was trying to tell him to get down, but he scored a touchdown anyways, and that's how we got to 27-19.
Wow. incredible.
Well, we have an interview with Coach Chad Eads, but unfortunately I do not have it up and running yet. We're going to have to reconnect here because we're getting some kind of static all of a sudden, so I don't know what's going on. But we're going to take a break. Thank you. You got the game tonight on 107.1 FM.
Yes, sir.
Gets underway at 6:30. It will be at Fairview with the Wildcats coming in, the Hayden Wildcats and Coach Chad Eads. And best of luck. We had Coach Simmons on earlier today. He's going to try to be live here at 7:30, but we're going to sort of piecing this together. But nevertheless, we heard from Coach earlier, and it should be a lot of a ball game tonight. Good luck on the call.
I'm excited about tonight. We got senior night as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Just being a Blount County guy and coaching in Blount County, I expect Hayden to come back from last week's game and play extremely well. I think this will be much closer than some of the local people think and some of the coaches think. I think Hayden will be very prepared, but I think Fairview, too, is going to bounce back well. I think the key thing for a young football team, how do they handle an emotional victory coming back next week and also getting their first home game this week? So that's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of pride on the line, but I expect Hayden to play really well tonight.
All right. Coach, Wes, best of luck to you guys tonight.
Thank you.
All right, game on 107.1 FM. We'll be right back. More Coaches Breakfast coming your way from the Little House after this on the Fun Radio Football Network.
Insurance can feel overwhelming when you don't know who to trust. Put your trust in Alpha Insurance, where personalized service and peace of mind come standard. Stop by and see Chance Bennett. She's ready to help you review your current coverage and find the right protection for your family and lifestyle. At Alpha, you're more than just a policy number. You're part of the community. Call Chance Bennett today at 256-586-4580 to learn more about the personalized benefits Alpha Insurance has to offer.
Alpha Insurance.
A&D Motors, we got the right used cars you can trust. Come take a drive.
Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Harlow, your hometown car gal. You don't have to drive far to find a great deal. At A&D Motors, we're your locally owned, buy here, pay here dealership for over 30 years. And we stand behind every vehicle we sell. Finance with us and get a free limited warranty. Visit the car gals at A&D Motors on the Parkway in Arab, your one-stop dealership.
So come on down, let's take a spin. With A&D Motors, you sure to win.
When storms strike, fallen trees can cause serious damage to homes, property, and power lines. Don't wait for disaster. Call Hunch Tree Service. With 31 years of experience in tree removal, trimming, and stone grinding, we guarantee quality work and complete cleanup. Fully licensed and insured, we prioritize safety and professionalism on every job. Don't go out on a limb yourself. Trust your local tree experts. Hunch Tree Service is here for you. Find them on Facebook and call for a free estimate at 256-302-0006.
DNN RV Service knows what Friday nights mean around here. They also know how important it is to get your RV back on time. Across the country, the average RV repair takes months, but at DNN RV Service, most repairs are finished in about 10 days. Why? They stock the parts other shops have to order. For over 30 years, DNN certified technicians have kept RVs on the road. Their shop was built by the two-time national champion RV technician, and they're committed to getting you back where you belong, on the road and at the campground. DNN RV Service, 256-571-9399.
Fun Radio, traffic now.
After some technical difficulties, we're trying to get those straightened out right now. Traffic looking really good this morning. School zones are active. Buses are out there. A little bit of fog. It looks like it's already beginning to burn off, though. And we're looking good. We've got traffic heavy through the Madison area and building right around 565 and Research Park Boulevard. Just be careful out there, mainly due to lights and just interchanges. Keep the seatbelts buckled and be safe. From the Tennessee Valley Traffic Center, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
Marshall, DeKalb, and Jackson counties, we cover them all. Coach's Breakfast on Fun 92.7 HD1.
And welcome back to the Huddle House. It's Michael St. John leading the crew today with Coach Matt Plunkett, Ken Plunkett.
He's sitting on the front porch drinking coffee right now.
And he's listening to you, right?
No, yeah.
Ken, well, yeah, Big Ken's with us, and of course the human computer. And boy, we got this. I'm just following my notes here, and we talked about Fairview now, and we're going to move on because we're going to talk about some of the games that are happening throughout our area that are big games, ones that keep an eye out. And we're going to start with the human computer. And Cody Walker, the game that you have picked out is an interesting one indeed.
Yeah, the 106th meeting between Coleman and Hartselle. Coach Trent Walker's team trying to not go 0-2. That's kind of become a common theme at Coleman, where they start out real slow in the season. Last season, they started out, I think, 1-4, but then ended up going 4-1 down the stretch of the back end of their schedule. So they thought they were coming in with momentum, met up with Boaz last week, and kind of were shocked. They got up early in that game. Boaz comes back and wins that one, and then turn around and they get their biggest rival in Hartselle right around the corner. Not region rivals anymore. Hartselle's still in the Northwest. Coleman now going down to Birmingham with it, but still big implications for Coleman because they don't want to start that game this season 0-2. Hartselle leads the series 53-47-4, and the first game of the series was all the way back in 1916. So these two teams have been playing for a long time. They know each other really well, and it's been rough going at Coleman, and Coach Walker thinks he's got things turned around, but he's going to have to figure things out really quick here with Hartselle coming in.
Back in the old days with the old Tennessee Valley League, if you would, they had the railroad division. I don't know if you ever realized this, but you had Athens, Decatur, Hartselle, Coleman, and they all played each other every year. And it was old Highway 31. Some of it wasn't even paved when it all started, but they used the railroad at times to get the teams from one town to another. And like you say, this game goes way back. Let me say this about the Coleman Bearcats. I want to pay a compliment to Coach Walker, because he's not afraid to schedule big games early.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, he ends up with Boaz, who is going to be a very good football team, all said and done by the time this year is over with. They already are good. They're going to get better. Then you get Hartselle, which is no easy task. And then all of a sudden, you got to go south and start playing Birmingham schools.
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you something. I've coached in that game. I've coached in the Coleman-Hartselle game. And I don't know, I grew up, Arab used to play Hartselle all the time growing up as a kid, and I experienced a ton of Arab Hartselle games. I experienced a ton of Arab Coleman games. So I knew both programs. But then I got to coach in the Coleman versus Hartselle game. Guys, they hate each other. I'm just going to be honest with you. They hate each other. It is absolute. There's no love lost whatsoever. I mean, it is absolutely going to be blood and guts tonight. And I guarantee you Trent Walker has had this game circled because this is a game changer for the future of that program. Coleman needs to beat Hartselle, period, the end. And Coleman people want to beat Hartselle. And I guarantee this game, Trent Walker will have that staff. They have prepared and worked, and I do expect this game to be close, but I expect Hartselle to win.
Wow. Okay. Ken, you've got a game circle tonight.
I've got the favorite game to me of today, and that's Columbia versus East Limestone. They're going to be playing in Milton Frank again. And Columbia, as we know, snapped that losing streak last week. They beat Greensboro 41-14 and snapped that streak. Now, can they do that tonight? East Limestone lost to Ardmore 27-26 after Ardmore, after trailing 27-10 at the halftime. They missed a game-tying 49-yard field goal with 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. They could have tied it, and then, of course, you know what happens then. Columbia's offensive coordinator is known throughout the region. It's Andrew Williams, and he's a former Danville head coach. Now, Columbia's got a senior running back that went over 200 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns versus Greensboro, and junior quarterback Deuce Wilson. East Limestone has a sophomore quarterback, Jacob Copeland, and had a wide receiver that did have 160 yards in their last game. So I really think this is going to be a test for both teams, but I really think that Columbia's got another good chance of putting another win on the board.
A disappointing game for East Limestone last week because they blow a lead and lose in overtime at home. So you've got a new coaching staff there, a whole new dynamic, a new paradigm there that is just beginning to settle in. Interesting fact about Columbia's second year under Coach Sammy Coates. I have been going, and you heard in the first hour I had a chance to talk to Coach Coates. I've been going there every year for 20 years. The late, great Ronnie Shoemate was the first DARE officer in that school, was there for 4 years. I was out there when they actually won a few games early on before they started the streak. And every year that you went during the streak, you went out there and you just got a feeling this place ain't together. The locker room wasn't together. There was trash on the floor. There was, things out of place. You just didn't get a figure that, under any coach, that they were together, that they were cohesive. Last year, I did not get to go out there, but I talked to Coach Coates at Media Day. And I got a feeling, I said, this guy's either going to turn it around or this is going to be the biggest bust of all time. Well, obviously, I went out there on Tuesday, and I stepped into that locker room, and I stepped onto that field, and I went, holy Toledo, because everything has changed. It's a football place now. You go into the locker room, lockers were in perfect scenario. The floor was clean. The place smelled like it had just been mopped. It was like all the papers were in the right places, the jerseys, it was going into a locker room like yours when you were the head coach. If it starts in the locker room, if you're not together and organized in the locker room, you ain't going to take it on the field.
Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what's happened at Columbia. And it don't happen overnight. Andrew Williams is one of the best football coaches when it comes to fundamentals, discipline, toughness. And I'm going to tell you something. I looked at some of those pictures and followed that Columbia win. There's a lot of energy coming off that program, as you mentioned right now, coming off that victory. And that's something that Coach will have to kind of bring that temperature down.
I asked him about that.
He's going to have to bring that temperature down a little bit. But I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes when you set the world on fire, just keep the world on fire a little bit. Maybe you don't need to bring it down and let those kids feed off that energy a little bit. But having a experienced coach on both sides of the ball with Sammy Coates and Andrew Williams is going to help those kids. And I'm telling you, I've coached against East Limestone. East Limestone has kind of, I hate to say, dropped off a little bit from where they were maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago.
When Jeff was there, it was a powerhouse program.
No doubt. And I really think Columbia is going to have some tremendous opportunities. I hate to go out there and say Columbia's starting 2-0, but I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be a good football game tonight. And I expect Columbia to play well and definitely have a chance in the fourth quarter.
A good pick, by the way, to highlight this game, because I wanted to talk a little bit about it. And with East Limestone at Milton Frank, Columbia, like you say, with the energy, if he can get the kids off the ceiling and back on the floor, they got a chance to go 2-0.
And I just want to add this one point. FHS does agree. East Limestone's only a 2-point favorite going into this game. When was the last time you could say that about Columbia?
Doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah, Michael, you and I talked about this. I think one of the things that happened in the 2 years that Sammy's been there, you've got a coach that has played in the NFL.
Yep.
And then you've got Andrew Williams, if I understand it right, was former military. So when you look at that locker room, you look at how they come cohesively together, that makes sense.
Well, Coach Williams greeted me when I first drove up, and he was on the phone with Coach Snyder, and I just left Coach Snyder. But Coach Williams, the one thing I always liked about going to Danville when you were at Burr and you guys were playing and going to see him, I always learned something from him. I always learned a lesson. He always had a lesson for you to learn. But I'll tell you the other thing. He is an older gentleman that has, like you say, the experience, and the kids respect that. But they respect the fact that Coach Coates, they look at a guy that's been to the show.
Yeah.
They got a guy that's been on ESPN Sports Center more times than once.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked him the question. I said, what was more exciting to you, to be on ESPN Sports Center making a big catch, or to watch your... And he sort of answered the question, but I didn't think he wanted to totally to give out the fact that he's very proud of this football team.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of good things about this football team. But I think behind the scenes, he's told this football team, one win doesn't make a season. 1 minute win doesn't make a career. And I think you're right. I think Columbia tonight will go 2-0. And I'm going to say this. I think with the start they've got and the schedule they've got, they're going to be a spoiler for a lot of people down the road.
They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough, especially if the energy levels can stay high and the discipline within the program can stay high. And really, you win games Monday through Thursday. You do not win them. You can lose them on Friday night, but you win them on Monday through Thursday. So how the practices have been, how the discipline in the locker room's been, how the discipline in the school has been, all those things are things that we don't always know about. That will be determined on Friday. But Monday through Thursday is when you win football games.
All right, the Columbia Eagles. And, boy, you got to get used to... For years in Tennessee, I covered a team in our region called the Columbia Alliance from Columbia, Tennessee, Mule Days, the Mule Boys. And actually got thrown out of a midget league football game up there because of my behavior. But anyway, the fact of the matter is I've got to get used to saying the Columbia Eagles. And let's see if the Eagles can fly high tonight. When we come back, we have the head football coach of the... Oh, I'm sorry, I've got... let me do one more. I didn't let you in.
No, we're good.
Okay,
we're good.
You got Hazel Green.
Real quick about the Albertville-Hazel Green game. I really expect Albertville to win this game tonight. I think the cohesiveness in the locker room is all together at Albertville. I think there's a ton of confidence there, but I think Coach Weingarten has not allowed that confidence to get through the roof. I think they're just going to play another football game tonight at 7 o'clock. They're going to go out there and play hard. I really like Albertville's depth on both sides of the football, and I really think that's where they will win this game versus Hazel Green. Hazel Green is not going to have a lot of depth. There's not a lot of cohesiveness there. But Albertville, and it kind of blows your mind saying that about Albertville. Let me tell you something. Coach Weingarten, to me, is doing one of the best coaching jobs, taking on a program from where it's been to where it is now. I think, in the history of North Alabama. He's doing an absolutely fantastic
job. And you couldn't ask for a better team to play second week than Hazel Green because they're reeling.
Absolutely.
This is a team that has to really, they got to reshuffle the deck.
Yeah. So and you absolutely know what's coming down the road too. The big thing is Albertville can't be looking forward to a big Arab game coming down the road.
I'm glad you brought that up because that would be the misstep if they're looking ahead.
And Coach Weingarten knew exactly what he was doing when he built the schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, that's part of why you hire a coach, right?
That's
coach?
right. That's right.
All right. When we come back, we've got the head football coach of the Ardmore Tigers, and I had a great conversation with Coach Snyder. We always have a great opportunity to talk. And then, of course, in the 8 o'clock hour, we talk about the Arabian Nights and a few more of the games that we're following. Plus, coming up later on, our college pick'ems. And I'm going to throw a clinker into the college pick'ems, and you guys be thinking about it. And when Coach Routon gets here, we'll spring it on him. I want you guys to predict at the end of college pick'ems who you think will be the national champion in 138 days from now. We haven't even started the season, but who do you think will win it all 138 days from now? We'll get your pick'ems in a minute.
Wow.
All right, when we come back, Coach Snyder and the Ardmore Tigers after this on the Fun Media Group Football Network Coach's Breakfast.
When it's time to buy your dream home, choose Brindlee Mountain Homes in Morgan City. Discover brand new 2026 model homes with a wide variety of floor plans designed to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Located at 4059 Highway 231. Stop by and take a tour of these stunning manufactured homes from trusted brands. Visit BrindleeMTNHomes.com or call 256-498-1000 to speak with a sales representative today. Brindlee Mountain Homes, making homeownership a reality.
There is nothing in this life more difficult than coping with the loss of a loved one. Hello, I'm Keenan Warren of Arab Stoneworks. When you are ready to look for memorial options, come see me at 671 Sundown Drive. We will sit down together and start with a blank slate. We design and produce only what you want, nothing more, nothing less. Please visit our website at arabstoneworks.com. We make custom memorials for custom individuals. Arab Stoneworks.
Broken down and can't find a tow? Call Arab Towing, Muffler and Auto Service. With 24/7 towing, help is always just a phone call away. And it doesn't stop there. Arab Towing, Muffler and Auto Service also handles major mechanical repairs for both foreign and domestic vehicles, getting you back on the road fast. Arab Towing, Muffler and Auto Service, your one-stop shop on Sundown Drive, just off Brindlee Mountain Parkway. Call 256-586-6192 or 256-506-4552. That's Arab Towing, Muffler and Auto Service. Ready when you need them. The Friday Morning Huddle, Coach's Breakfast, live from your Huddle House restaurant.
Join us here at Coach's Breakfast. We're about to order and grab some food. We'll have Coach Snyder. I mentioned that we'd have Coach Snyder this break. We're going to have him just after the 8 o'clock hour here on Fun Radio. And today's Coach's Breakfast from the Huddle House is brought to you by A&D Motors, Marshall Medical Center's Home Care, Interiors Workroom, DNN RV Services, Discount Building Supply, Twin Lakes Golf Course, Alpha Insurance, and Agent Chance Bennett. Arab Towing and Muffler, Congressman Robert Adderholt, Hunt's Tree Service, and Arab Stoneworks. Back around the round table, Michael St. John, along with Cody Walker, Big Ken Williams, Coach Matt Plunkett, our last segment with the coach here before we start talking more about the Arab game and some of the games of more local interest. We've had a couple of games that we talked about last night. Huntsville High got their first win and a big win over Jemison. Inter-city rivalry there that doesn't go back a whole lot, but when you look back at the history of May Jemison, before May Jemison was May Jemison was Johnson. And so there was a great rivalry there between Huntsville High and Johnson. May Jemison, not quite the football power that the Johnson Jaguars were at one time. I don't know why they changed the name when they built the new school, but I'm not naming schools anymore. So with that in mind, your thoughts on what Huntsville City Schools are going to do with starting with the season? I know Grissom has had their problems. They're at Decatur tonight. Lee, I don't even see Lee on the schedule. There they are. They're at Madison County. Your thoughts about city schools, Cody?
Yeah, I watched a lot of that game with May Jemison and Huntsville last night, and it was not the prettiest game to watch. A lot of turnovers, both sides. That game could have got out of hand for Huntsville and really kept May Jemison in the game. And a lot of people coming into this season really had May Jemison as one of those sneaky teams that could upset some teams in region and maybe contend for that number 4 spot and make it into the playoffs. They had their game canceled last week against Ben Russell because of the transformer blowing up, but they get Huntsville last night, and it was one of those scenarios where they come out like a house on fire at points, but Huntsville just kind of overwhelmed them and wore them down in the second half. For the rest of the teams in the city, it's just a question of can they take that next step, because like Lee is now the second longest losing streak in the state, now behind Asbury, who we talked about earlier today, and also teams like Grissom. What are they going to do? This is 6A, but it's still the largest classification in the state that they have to contend with all these big schools.
Well, you get a situation, too, now with Grissom taking on Decatur. And, Matt, I know that is a situation where Decatur is rebuilding. Grissom is rebuilding again and again and again. You had an opportunity to talk a little bit about the Grissom program during the offseason. Your thoughts?
Well, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people do not talk about, okay, and I'm not trying to stir a pot here or anything, but I think it's something that we need to talk about, because Huntsville City Schools is a great place. Huntsville's a great town. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the entire United States of America. So there's a lot of people there, but I think the dynamic between public school and private school in the city of Huntsville, in that Madison area, you've got Lindsay Lane now, who beat Brindlee Mountain last week. You've obviously got Westminster Christian Academy. Coach LeBlanc's been there for a long time. You've got Randolph School, who beat Pisgah last week, I think 47 to nothing.
And you got Whitesburg Christian.
Whitesburg Christian that's growing.
They're coming.
And so I talked to the Grissom principal, and he said, let me tell you something. Whitesburg Christian's a thorn in my side. And so I think you see a lot of students right there that end up at those private schools. And I think that's something that those city school head coaches and city school athletic directors and city school principals have got to fight every day to keep their best students in those schools. That is it, because there's obviously some great private school programs. I think that's the biggest dynamic that a lot of people don't talk about that is really hurting Huntsville City in the long run.
I think you're right, and I think the dynamic is beyond the football field.
Yes.
It goes back into the hallways, it goes back into the classrooms, and that's what it's all about. Ken, he mentioned Lee and the losing streak that Lee is on. They go to Madison County, and Madison County is a team that we are learning more about, but they're a team that we don't really have a read on. So your thoughts about Lee, Huntsville City School, and Madison County?
A lot of schools up there in the Huntsville City Schools that are going to challenge everybody this year. And, with Lee last year, as we monitored them on the station all year, they were back and forth. And, I mean, Cody and I would sit there in the studio and
they'd get close, but they'd just get away from the season.
They would just get so close, and then it would go away from them. So I think Lee's kind of got a chip on their shoulder this year, and they're going to have to try to say, okay, we don't want that same kind of year. We're at the beginning of the season. It's hard to tell. But as Cody would tell you, they came to some close games last year, and they just couldn't finish.
Well, I think another problem that enters the scenario here, or a situation here, is that Lee, and at Lee, especially May Jemison is in that group right there. You got a lot of players that are basketball players that are playing football, but their emphasis is basketball. So they're using football to get ready for basketball. So they don't want to get hurt. They want to play. They don't want to get hurt. They're competitors. But at the same time, they don't want to get hurt because they got to play basketball.
Huntsville's in that same boat, too. They're one of the top-ranked teams. They've even ranked nationally a couple of times in the last couple of years. So basketball is the number one sport in Huntsville right now.
It is, and that is a 180-degree change from 25 years ago.
Well, and the key that the football coach and the athletic director and all those people have to be able to do is say, look, guys, we can't hear the basketballs dribbling too early. We've got to be able to focus on one sport at a time, make great quality transitions from one sport to the next, and help teach our kids how to process one thing at a time. That is it, because it's obvious. Huntsville City basketball is a big thing. It's a fantastic thing. You've experienced it. Those gyms are packed out every night during the week on Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. So, hey, it's football season, though, man. Let's play some football.
Well, let's talk some private schools while we brought up private schools. Tonight, a big game, and I think this game doesn't get enough attention. You got West Morgan, who got beat last week, right?
Yep.
They got beat last week, surprisingly.
By Athens. No, they got beat by Athens,
which is a pretty good football team.
Yep.
So let's give it credit where credit's due. But you got West Morgan and Madison Academy at Madison Academy. And Madison Academy, I got news for you. They have one of the best coaches that has ever coached in North Alabama.
Yep.
And that program is steady go, steady go, steady go. The one difference about this coach is he's not out recruiting 4 days a week and coaching on Friday. He's coaching 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and I think that's a big case about Madison Academy. If you would, Ken, talk a little bit about what this matchup brings to the table.
Well, it's going to be a good matchup, I think. West Morgan's 34-game regular season win streak was ended last week with that 28-6 loss to Athens. Madison Academy led that 21-10 entering the fourth quarter, and then they ended up falling. Avoiding 0-2, Madison Academy is trying to avoid that since its first 0-2 start since 2024. West Morgan seeks to avoid its first since 2020. Senior running back on West Morgan, Jahari Wiggins, and they got a senior running back, Jordan Stover, and they've got a junior quarterback, so they've got a good mix of offense. Now, watching some of their games, I think the defense is going to be a problem for them. I think they can throw plenty of offense. They did that last year. Cody and I monitored that too. But I think where they're going to struggle, even tonight, is going to be against a good team that has a good, strong offense, and they won't have a defense.
You mentioned Stover, an outstanding running back against Arab last year. The last half of this game, he ran roughshod. And he was a year younger. And last week, I know he had a prominent game against Mars Hill. But anytime you step in, and I salute the scheduling, you go with your football team and you go play the defending state champions at their place, first game out of the season, you're asking for one thing. You're asking for a big victory that's going to bring you momentum for the rest of the season, or you're going to get kicked down and you're going to get kicked in the teeth, and then that's going to make your team even tougher as the season goes on.
Well, let's talk about Bob Godsey. We mentioned him, obviously the head coach at Madison Academy, former head football coach at Hartsville High School. I've had 2 tremendous opportunities to coach against Bob Godsey. One came in on my favor, second round of the playoffs, Gardendale versus Hartsville in 2015. And then this next time I got to coach against him was Coleman versus Hartsville. And that was actually his 100th career victory at Hartsville High School. Bob Godsey is one of the best football coaches.
I'm glad you got to watch that.
Let me tell you something. Bob Godsey is one of the best football coaches in the state of Alabama. Going back to the Athens and West Morgan game, a lot of people don't know this dynamic. Drew Phillips is the head coach at West Morgan, former offensive coordinator for Cody Gross at Athens. So Coach Gross had a little, I think, bone to pick with Drew right there. And Coach Gross had came off of a tough jamboree game against Gardendale the week before, and a lot of improvement out of Athens coming off a tough jamboree versus Gardendale and then getting that win versus West Morgan's. So that was a little bit personal, I think, for Coach Gross, even though Coach Phillips and Coach Gross have a great relationship. He didn't want to lose to his former offensive coordinator.
West Morgan's last regular season loss, these players, the oldest players, were in 8th grade.
Wow.
Been a while.
That's pretty amazing. Well, we've sort of made the gambit and talked about football here on Coach's Breakfast. So the next hour, we talk about Arab and their big game against Ardmore. And, of course, Ardmore getting that victory coming off the overtime win against East Limestone. A bunch more games that you can talk about. Want to give some love to Coach Joel Poole and what he's doing at Woodville.
Yeah.
And the folks that he's put together, he's got a good coaching staff up there, but he's taking a lot of good old country boys and turning them into real tough football players in a real hurry. It's sort of the earmark of a Coach Poole program, even when he was at Albertville, even when he was at Madison County. But he's taken this Woodville program, and I think he's taken this program more to heart personally than he ever has taken any program.
Coach Poole's one of my former coaches. He coached us as an assistant coach at ARAB growing up, and I love Coach Poole. He was my elementary PE teacher. Him and Coach Beck taught me how to throw and catch and all those things, and so I love Coach Poole. And, you know, he kind of comes from the old Pod Patterson days. You know, he knows a lot about building programs and, you know, being cohesive and things like that. And I love Coach Poole and absolutely wish him the best. I think he's doing a great job with it in a tough place at Woodville.
All right, we're going to sort of change the dynamic of the show. We got new folks coming in. You've got a great game tonight against an in-county rival. Best of luck at Blunsville against J.P. Pinnacle.
Hey, thank you, guys. I'm telling you, we're excited about it. Big game for us, and we just need to play well. It's going to come down to who's the hungriest, man, who wants to get to the buffet first.
All right, well, speaking of buffet, we're going to order, and a lot more still to come. You're listening to Coach's Breakfast. We're live from the Huddle House, 8 o'clock on Fun Radio. We are WAFN-FM, ARAB Huntsville. We're streaming at fun927.com. We're also on our all-in-one Fun Media Group app. And, oh, by the way, we're in high definition. So when the foot hits the ball, you hear a big thud instead of a little thud. That's what HD is all about. We'll be back 8 o'clock hour next with Coach's Breakfast here on Fun Radio.
We are WAFN AM Somerville, W285 EN FM Priceville, Decatur, WAFN FM HD ARAB Huntsville.
Fox News Now.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Rescue crews continue to search through mountainous terrain in the Himalayas after flash flooding devastated communities along the Nepal-China border. More moisture on the way.
As that moisture tries to cross over the mountains, that's when you can get in these absolute downbursts, and you could be talking about really heavy rain. In tall mountains, those have to all rush down somewhere.
Fox meteorologist Adam Klotz, number of killed and more than 530. Jury deliberations continue this morning in the trial of Lindsay Clancy. The Massachusetts mom has admitted to murdering her 3 children, but the defense argues she's not criminally responsible because she suffered from postpartum mental health problems.
The jury is comprised of 9 women and 3 men with 6 additional alternates. They'll consider a range of outcomes, including not guilty due to a lack of criminal responsibility.
Fox's Nate Foy outside that Plymouth, Massachusetts courthouse. America's listening to Fox News.
Traffic now.
Still dealing with some patchy dense fog in the Tennessee Valley, so you want to be on the lookout for that for sure. Got a couple accidents. Prospect at 6th Avenue at Decatur, maybe causing you a little bit of trouble. And, of course, you've still got the one on Highway 67 or Point Mallard Parkway and Upper River Road slowing things down. Don't know about injuries or anything, but we do know that there are some responders on the scene with both of those. Everything else in the valley moving smoothly, but it's heavy. Construction zones are active, and school zones are wrapping up for the morning. Keep the seatbelts buckled and be safe. From the Tennessee Valley Traffic Center, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, here's your Fun Radio forecast. Well, as we finish out this work week, finish out the month of August, we got dry weekend ahead. Real nice weather, sunshine. Today, a bit of a northerly breeze, probably the best breeze we've had all week, around 7. Doubtful we'll see anything significant as far as rainfall goes. As we go through the weekend, each day gets a little bit hotter. The humidity definitely higher on Sunday with a heat index in the upper 90s. Look for overnight lows around 70. From the WAFF 48 First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for the Fun Media Group.
The Fun Media Group presents Coach's Breakfast, celebrating a quarter century of talking football on Friday morning, live from the Huddle House, high atop Brindlee Mountain in North Alabama, and brought to you by
Alpha Insurance and agents Talissa Scheichel and Robert Baird, NHTC, the New Hope Telephone Cooperative, Marshall Medical Center's Home Health Care, DNN RV Service, Discount Building Supply in Warrington, A&D Motors on Brindlee Mountain Parkway, the Interiors Workroom in the Magnolia Plaza, ARAB Towing and Muffler, Hunt's Tree Service, Twin Lakes Golf Course, and Arab Stoneworks on Sundown Drive.
Let the football talk begin.
Hey, welcome back into Coach's Breakfast. Second week of high school football, about to turn the calendar to September. It's still going to be warm, but maybe not as bad as it has been. And the head football coach of the Ardmore Tigers, Coach Jonathan Snyder, joins me. We go back a ways, Coach. You and I have done this several times. In fact, I had the honor of doing it last year during the playoff run and coming up to see you. But talk about your Ardmore Tigers. First of all, congratulations. You pulled one out last week at East Limestone and beat a pretty good football team.
Yes, sir, we did. We got 20 seniors this year. It's a big senior class. Kids that have played a lot of ball, been around our program, a lot of them since they were seventh graders. So, we really looking forward to this group being a group that knows how things are, that understands how to compete, understands how to carry themselves. Bumps in the road, obviously, but happy about last week's win. But now, turning into the challenge with Arab Friday night. Really looking forward to it.
Coach, both teams had big wins. Arab getting a shutout at Guntersville for the first time since 2014, and your big win in overtime. What kind of an experience it is for the kids to first game out of the chute?
It's one of those deals where playing first game of the year, obviously we knew our opponent. It's a big rival, but they change coaches. You don't really know what they're going to do on either side of the ball. You have an idea they played a jamboree, but really and truly that doesn't matter. And for our kids to be able to persevere and make adjustments through the game, I think is a testament to not only our players but also our staff on understanding that, hey, we didn't have all the answers, but we had ways in which we could find the answers, and the kids were able to adjust. And fortunately, when the final buzzer went off, we had more points than they did.
Coach Jonathan Snyder joins us this morning here on Coach's Breakfast from the Ardmore Tigers, the opponents of the Arabian Knights, both teams coming in 1-0. Senior night at Arab tonight. You talked about seniors. You've got a bunch.
When you've got 20 guys, and probably I would say 14 or 15 of them have been with you for a long time, it's hard to really go down the list if you didn't have an hour for me to talk about them. But, just a handful of guys that have played a lot of ball for us. Javian Riddle's been our running back for the last 3 years. Last 2 years combined for almost 2,600 yards and 30 touchdowns. Is what I feel like one of the best backs in North Alabama. Does it when people know he's going to get the ball and still finds a way. Alex King is our quarterback, who's also a senior, been a 4-year starter for us, does a great job of managing our offense, does everything we ask him to do, very, very cerebral player. One starting offensive lineman back from last year, which is my son, Landon Snyder. We moved him from center to guard. He'd played center the 2 previous years. We moved him to strong guard this time. Done a phenomenal job. I know he's my kid, but has done a phenomenal job in the leadership role of making himself a better football player to help our team. Defensively, Landon Combs is a 3-year starter at our D-line who does a great job of holding the middle. Azriel Lozano's 2-year starter inside linebacker. Austin Candler, 2-year starter outside linebacker. Jalen Smith, 2-year starter outside linebacker. So we got a lot of guys that played a lot of ball. So we lean heavy on them, especially the ones that are seniors in their leadership.
The consistency of this football team since you have been here is amazing. I mean, year to year to year, you know what you're going to get, and it's a matter of preparation for the opposing coach, in this case, the Arabian Knights. Talk about your execution and how that has played into what you do with your football team.
Well, I think a lot of consistency from our coaching staff and the things that we do on both sides of the ball that helps our kids know when they get into our program, we're going to make adjustments. We're going to have some different looks, but for the most part, this is who we are. And when you can maintain that consistency with our staff, kids they create relationships, and then they want to play hard for those guys, because it's not just about me. It's about the position coaches, the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, and how the time that they put in to get our guys prepared, and then the respect our kids show to play hard for them and try to do things. And when that happens year in and year out, and you have a lot of consistency, I think kids get used to, not comfortable to, but used to, hey, how we play, what's the expectation, what's the standard, this is who we are, and then go execute from there, and I think that helps that part.
Coach, now you get to talk about the Arab Knights. They go into Guntersville, pull the big win, get that first game at home. What you see is what you get with the Coach Routon team. Your thoughts on the game tonight?
Coach Routon and I, we sort of go way back a little bit. When I was at Athens, I was the head wrestling coach, and he was at Southside Gadsden at the time before he came to Arab. Not that I was a wrestler at heart. I was sort of the low man on the totem pole. Enjoyed my time, don't get me wrong, but nonetheless, just the intensity he showed on a wrestling mat as a coach, and then now seeing him as a head coach over the last few years, watching his teams on film, like, unbelievable. The kids play so hard. They're physical. They're not flashy. They do what they do, but they do it well. You're not like, hey man, this guy, like they all play together. They get 11 hats to the football on defense. Their offense stays on blocks. They run hard. Quarterback is a great player. Runs the offense exactly how they need it. Defense is, hey, this is who we are. You're gonna get in the red area. We're gonna make it hard to score on you because we're gonna do some things. And my hat's off to him because it's fun watching them on film and how they play. It's definitely something that you look at as a coach that you would like to emulate their intensity, the way they play together as a team, their physicality, all the things that I enjoy in a football team. I get to see that. I just hate we have to line up across from them and see how it works. But we're looking forward to it. I think our kids will bring the energy to match their intensity and, looking for a good game.
Makes for a great matchup and a great football game. Final question, your keys tonight to getting a win on the road and jumping into region play.
Well, we've got to limit a lot of foolish penalties. We had some last week. We talked about them this week. I think our kids have been educated on how to change that. Need to win the turnover battle. And I don't want to sound like coach speak, but I think that's very vital in any game that you play, especially in high school football with two teams that I feel like are relatively evenly matched. That turnover battle, the special teams battle, those things that a lot of times people may not see from the stands, you got to win those things. We got to stay consistent, got to stay on schedule, both sides of the ball. Limit the big play, just keep working both sides of the ball, and maybe things will turn out to our favor. But those are our keys that we've been talking to our kids about.
Coach, you do a great job. Thank you for what you do and what you do for these kids.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll be back with more Coach's Breakfast this morning here on Fun Radio.
No gimmicks, no games, just saving you money. That's what we're all about at Warehouse Discount Groceries on Brindlee Mountain Parkway.
They get the family pack of New York strip steak for $9.99 a pound. The family pack of 80% lean ground chuck, $5.49 a pound. Boneless chuck roast is $6.49 a pound. The family pack of assorted bone-in pork chops, $1.79 a pound at the Warehouse. The family pack of top sirloin steak is $6.99 a pound. Dean sausage, the 1 pound roll is just $3.29. Large cantaloupes get 2 for $4. U.S. #1 Colorado russet potatoes, the 8 pound bag is $2.99. Dole fresh salads are $1.99. Your peanut butter, the 15-ounce jar, get 2 for $4. Lux beans or peas or Food Club tomatoes, 89 cents a can. At Smart Sugar, the 4 pound bag, get 2 for $5. Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola products are on sale, including 12-ounce cans in the 12-pack, get 2 for $13. At Warehouse Discount Groceries in Arab, now with online Instacart same-day delivery.
We appreciate your business at Warehouse Discount Groceries, part of the Mitchell Grocery family.
When it comes to buying or selling a home, it's not just about real estate. It's about community. Bo Goss with Marmac Real Estate goes beyond the closing table, helping families find a place to call home while giving back through the first and sold community. From supporting local schools and student athletes to investing time and resources right here where we live, Bo believes success is meant to be shared. Looking to buy, sell, or make an impact? Call Bo Goss, where community always comes first. The first and sold community, powered by Marmac. It's a great day to call Bo. 256-274-3461.
Looking to elevate your space? The Interiors Workroom brings the latest in custom soft furnishings, tailored to fit every lifestyle. Get ahead of the trends with home automation, from solar shades and stylish drapes to smart window coverings that control privacy, heat, and glare at the touch of a button or voice command. Visit the Interiors Workroom Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 5 or by appointment at 256-931-2577. The Interiors Workroom, your inspiration, their expertise.
Fun Radio, traffic now.
As the fog begins to slowly burn off across the Tennessee Valley, we're still looking pretty good. Only one accident showing right now, and it's 565 near the county line exit for the eastbound traffic. So that's affecting you a little bit. Traffic backed up all the way to Greenbrier right now, so be careful through there. And like I said, with this fog out there, you've got limited visibility in some places. Just keep the headlights on and slow down a little bit. From the Tennessee Valley Traffic Center, I'm David Cruz, Mr. Traffic.
From Coleman to Madison, Morgan, and Blount counties, we cover them all. Coach's Breakfast on Fun 92.7 HD1.
Welcome back to Coach's Breakfast, coming to you live from the Huddle House, high atop Brindlee Mountain, second week of the high school football season. Michael St. John, along with the revised crew for the 8 o'clock hour. Big Ken Williams still with us as the show goes on. We have Chuck Ellis from our broadcast crew for the Arabian Nights, our color commentator, and our sideline reporter, Chris Greer, joining us as we talk about Arabian Night football. We just heard from the head football coach of the Ardmore Tigers, Coach Jonathan Snyder. Last week, they're in a war with East Limestone. Didn't know what really they were getting into with East Limestone with a brand new coach and a brand new scenario. And East Limestone, not the program that they used to be, according to Coach Matt Plunkett, who was in here earlier. But tonight, Chris, I'm going to start with you. The Knights got a big win and a shutout at Guntersville.
Yes.
It's a long time coming. But at the same time, now you've got to get the kids out of the clouds and back to the ground. You were in practice with the team part of the week. What are you seeing with this football team last week to this week?
I'm seeing a team that the leadership is stepping up. They're very grounded. You know, last week is in the books. It's done and it's over with, and they recognize that, and they know that this Ardmore team is a solid team that can beat you if you don't take them seriously.
All time, this team is 1-1 against the Ardmore Tigers, and it's a rivalry of two towns that are similar in size. The two schools are similar in size, although Ardmore did drop down to 4A this year. Chuck Ellis, one of the things about this Ardmore Tiger team, they got a running back. We saw a running back last week at Guntersville that surprised us in the first half, but then we didn't see the power run game really come forward for Guntersville in the second half. I think a lot of that had to do with the defensive adjustments at halftime. But with this football team, with Ardmore coming in here tonight, this is a toss-up game.
Oh, it is. And we're talking about Javian Riddle and Chris's cheat sheet. He says it's excellent mix of power and speed, very good vision. He's the one we called the bowling ball. And, he comes out, plays hard. The quarterback, third-year starter, those two there is going to be apples don't have to mow the neck.
I think the key to Ardmore, and I think Coach Snyder mentioned it when we talked, is their offensive line. They've only got one returning starter, and that is the coach's son. That's and right. They've moved him from center to guard. So he's got a young offensive line. But skill-wise, this is a football team that has the outside speed that has been damaging to the Arabian Nights for the last decade. Get outside of those hash marks, get outside of those numbers, and it's a foot race. Most of the time, you're going to lose the foot race. Mm-hmm. And I think with this Ardmore team, Javian Riddle has over 2,500 yards rushing, and they're entering his senior season. Had a big game last week, second half, against East Limestone. And the one thing about him, he's short enough. He's like 5'8". I had a chance to stand next to him, and I was almost a head taller than he is. But he is almost as round as I am tall. And the thing about him is he can hide behind those linemen, and he's a darting running back. If you've watched and you've watched the film, he's a running back that it's like a dart. He reminds me a lot of Eric Bieniemy when he was with Colorado. That's going way back.
That's fine.
But he's a darting running back, and when I say that, he sees that hole and then he's there. And there's not a lot of running backs that can turn it on a dime. This guy can.
Yes, he can, and that vision comes into, he's got patience and visions, and those two things that a good running back has to have. And he's got power, and that's the third thing. I see him having a pretty good night, but I also see something happening to the Ardmore defense. It happened to Guntersville, but it will happen a little sooner because of the size of the school. And that's when that big offensive line keeps leaning on that defense, as Chris called it. I think that happens earlier, and it'll be a good game for a quarter and a half, and then you'll start seeing the heat come into effect, and then I think Arab pulls away with it because of their depth and size.
Well, something you mentioned last week as the game was progressing is you made a note of that. I remember in the second quarter, you said as this game goes on, the size of the Arab line against the size of the Guntersville line will show its strength. And it wasn't a matter of overpowering them. It was just a matter of hitting them and hitting them and hitting them and repetitive and hitting them and hitting them. By the time the end of the third quarter came, they were gassed.
Yeah. The waves at a beach can wear a rock down to nothing but sand if it hits it enough. It's a war of attrition up front. And when you look at this Ardmore offensive defensive front, all these guys played both ways. So conditioning is a major, major sticking point in this game tonight. who's going to have the better conditioning. I know that Arab is a very well-conditioned football team, and most of their players are not playing two ways. That might be a big difference tonight.
Physicality was one thing that Coach Snyder brought up to me, is that he worries about, and he's witnessed it. He's coached the last two Arab games with Ardmore Tigers. Ardmore got a win. Arab got a win in each of those games. I think we lose up there, we win down here, or it may have been vice versa. But the last time these two teams met, it was a shootout. I don't know if this game is going to be a shootout, because I think both of these teams play it pretty close to the vest. They both like to run the football and establish the run early. And you've got two running backs, different in size and different in technique, but they accomplish the same job.
I think it's kind of like what you said a while ago with Mason Ingram. He's a quick kid. I don't think they got him on the outside last week the way that they could have. I expect to see him get more outside the tackle, make it a foot race to the corner. If he gets to the corner, I think he can outrun the defensive backs of Ardmore and have a pretty good game. But last week it was more in between the tackles for him, and this week I expect it to be more outside for him.
One thing too, Chris, that last week, and you make a good point there, Coach, but our coach,
that's fine.
Yeah, but you make a good point there. Is that the thing that surprised me the most, and I watched the film back Sunday of the game, and the thing that really stuck out to me in watching the film was how well the quarterback maintained control of the game.
Yes.
And the one thing that we've said a lot of, Nick Stevens is not a flashy young man. He's a very solid, get the job done. But I'm not going to say pedestrian, but someone that you look at him and you say he's just steady.
Yes.
And the one thing that he did is that game progressed, is especially on runs that he ran and on plays that he was actively making himself. I would have graded him an A in decision making.
I think I would agree with that. And the title game manager gets thrown around like it's a dirty word. It's not. This guy manages the huddle, manages the offense, makes smart decisions, doesn't force the ball where it needs to go. Did he have an interception last week? No, he did not. Okay, I expect he's going to come out. I think Arab's going to use the pass to set up the run. I think the Ardmore defense, especially in the secondary, is vulnerable, and we've got some receivers who can take advantage of that, and a quarterback who is smart enough to know when to throw and when not to.
The key of that is his consistency in throws, and that's something that he's been troubled with his whole career. And we saw it in the Jamboree game. One throw right on the money, one throw, gosh knows where it's going. And if he can control that, and again, pick your spots where you throw the ball.
Yes.
Pick your spots where you throw the ball. I think that's important. I also think, though, that this team, that this Ardmore team provides a new challenge that the Knights did not see last week, in that they have a running back that can break it at any moment. All he needs is a seam and if they can't keep up with where he is because of his height, that's going to be a problem, number one. But number two is, I think that the Ardmore team has an opportunity with this wide receiver that they've got in Caden Hazelwood. He's only a junior, but he's a guy that can get open, and if he gets open, he's going to catch the ball. He gets to the point of the ball, and he catches the ball. He's not great on the yards after catch, but he can get you downfield in a hurry.
He puts me in mind of an Ed McCaffrey type receiver who used to play with Denver in the NFL. Kind of built like a power forward in basketball, uses his body to box out a defender and to create receptions. And the guy, he's a vacuum. He's not going to take it and go 60 yards to the house. Right. But if it's within 5 yards, he's going to catch it.
Yeah, he's going to do good. I want to go back to Nick a little bit, and I think he's going to be one of the keys to the game again this week. And I think he's one of those people that Chris, as he was talking about, the leadership was stepping up. I think he's becoming one of the leaders of the team, and the people are looking at him to make those big plays like he did in that 46-yard pass to Willis last week. And I expect to see a lot of that this week with the size difference, 5'10", 5'11" cornerbacks going against 6'7", 6'6". That's going to be a difference.
Ardmore has a couple of corners. They have a couple of edge corners that are, you wouldn't call shutdown corners, but in another year they'll probably be shutdown corners. They're young,
right?
And they're coming on, but they play and they do a lot of hands. They have a lot of hand contact with the receivers coming out, so it's going to get interesting on that receiving end. Last week you mentioned that long touchdown or that long 48-yard pass. I thought that was the turning point of the game.
Yes.
I think if Arab does not complete that pass, that game may turn a different direction. But because of that pass, all of a sudden it kept that drive going, and all of a sudden the Knights, that was sort of the key for the offensive line to step on the gas, because the next 3 plays, all of a sudden the offensive line blows the defensive line off the line.
After that drive, I was on the sideline. I watched the offensive line come off the field and go over and sit down and start watching film. And before they start watching film, they're fired up. The energy changed. It was like the air was let out of a balloon on the Guntersville side, and it all flowed over to the Arab side. And I saw some of those senior offensive linemen get the rest of their team fired up. And I even asked Coach about it after the game. It seemed like from that moment on, the energy changed, and the Arab Knights we were expecting were there.
You could tell it. You could tell it from the press box. You and I talked about it as soon as we scored the touchdown. I turned to Chuck and I said, "This game just turned, and it did." One thing I think too is that, and you bring up that, is that the Knights have got to start a little quicker, and that has been a sort of an earmark of the Kyle Routon era, in that they're prepared, they're ready to go out there, but it's like they're once they come out on the field, it's not a "we're going to kill you on the first drive" kind of thing, and that could be part of coaching, and I'm good with that. But once they get rolling, I mean, this is a team that you have to deal with, and I think as the season goes on, we're going to see that. I think we're going to see that mentality more so than what we've seen even in the first game.
I had a coach one time tell me about momentum, that it's like a battleship, okay? Getting a team going, sometimes they start slow, but once they get moving, and once you get that momentum going, it's hard to stop. It's even harder to turn, and it takes even longer to do that. And some of the programs around us are finding that out right now, and they're doing a good job of turning that program around. Against this East Lawrence, or last week, Ardmore was vulnerable to the deep pass immediately. The first play of the game, the Indians came out and hit a bomb. And we've got the receivers who can do that. It wouldn't be a surprise to me to see them go deep early.
That's what I expect to see. Maybe the first play of the game, Tucker Willis deep. I'll go route and
Coach Snyder's listening. He listens to Coach's Breakfast. Let's not give out what it is.
Oh, yeah.
one thing, too.
I think he understands that the big man's going to be out there, and he's going to be somebody to deal with.
And I'm sure they've been working with that all week. One thing, too, I want to mention, and this will be the last thing before we go to break so we can get Coach in here. But the one thing that I thought that right away stuck out to me early on in the game, Guntersville twice in the red zone, twice within the 10-yard line, and they stubbed their toe both times. But the pressure for the defense, I mean, errors were forced errors, except the snap wasn't a forced. Well, it could have been, because the middle guard could have been on top of the guy, and he spooked him and he dribbled the ball back to the backfield, but back to the quarterback. But I really thought that when you got inside of the 10-yard line, the defense stepped it up a notch or two.
Yes.
And I got that on both times that Guntersville got within the red zone. But I think that is going to be a key element going forward for this football team, that when the enemy is in your backyard, you better come to the party.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I pontificated enough. I feel like we went back to my midget league coaching days, 20 years. But anyway, hey, Coach's Breakfast continuing. We're coming to you from the Huddle House. Thank you for joining us. Big game tonight. Of course, the Arab Knights take on the Ardmore Tigers. It is senior night, and we will be live with our pregame show starting at 6 o'clock. When we come back, the head man, the victorious Kyle Routon. He got that big fist bump last week with that shutout against the Guntersville Wildcats. Now, can you bring it home and make it 2 in a row? We shall see. Coach will join us next. You're listening to Coach's Breakfast, coming to you live from the Huddle House here on Fun Radio, Fun 92.7 FM.
It's football time in Alabama. Our students are learning big American lessons. You can start with your God-given talents, and through practice, hard work, and sacrifice, you have the ability to become champions. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. May God bless all of our students representing our high schools during this season, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
The best buying experience starts here at Sand Mountain Toyota. When it comes to dependability, style, and versatility, it starts with a Toyota Highlander. And you can get your new Highlander now during the Toyota National Sales Event. Just when you thought it couldn't be any better, the time is now at Sand Mountain Toyota. More than a dealership.
Hey folks, Mark Briggy, Sand Mountain Toyota. We're proud sponsors of high school football across North Alabama. Come visit us at Sand Mountain Toyota, Highway 431, Albertville, and online at sandmountaintoyota.com. Find out why we're more than a dealership.
MMC Home Care at 128 North Broad Street in downtown Albertville has a friendly, compassionate, and knowledgeable staff ready to serve you or your patients with all respiratory and durable medical equipment needs. From Trilogy ventilators, CPAP, BiPAP machines and supplies, home and portable oxygen, hospital beds, wheelchairs and walkers to bath safety aids and more, MMC Home Care has the products you need. MMC Home Care has a registered respiratory therapist on staff every day. Call 256-849-0226. Most insurance is accepted and same-day delivery. Trust your locally owned and operated hometown home care. MMC Home Care.
Welcome home to savings from Alpha Insurance. At Alpha, we offer flexible, affordable plans to protect what you love while offering property coverage without breaking the bank. Not only could our low rates make it easy to afford coverage, but insuring your home with Alpha affords you the peace of mind knowing if something happens, we're there to help. Call Alpha agent Nick Garner at 256-343-0040 or go see Nick on Highway 67 in Priceville, next to the Wavaho.
The Friday Morning Huddle, Coach's Breakfast, live from your Huddle House restaurant.
Coach's Breakfast, live from the Huddle House on Brindlee Mountain Parkway. Great breakfast is coming up. Ken, you already had your breakfast. How was that?
Biscuits and gravy. Can't beat it.
Oh, you can't beat it, that's for sure. Well, we got college pick'ems coming up. We have got Coach ARAP Coach Kyle Routon that's going to join us momentarily. We're waiting for his truck to come flying into the parking lot on two wheels as we have the game tonight. Again, it is senior night tonight at ARAP School Sportsplex, and that will get underway at about 6:30. They do their pregame a little bit early. For this, we will be joining part of those festivities. Archie Anderson, of course, the voice of the Arabian Nights, will be giving all the information to the crowd as they salute the seniors that are cheerleaders there in the band, and, of course, on the football team. But tonight, a big game between the Arabian Nights and the Ardmore Tigers. Our kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. Some big games. Tomorrow is week 0 of college football. See, now I'm equating it to high school football.
Thank you, God.
The preseason actually started last night. I'll tell you, there was a one riveting game. That Wagner-Elon game, that could have been just a barn burner for anybody.
I missed it. I was watching the Braves.
I missed it too.
Yeah, I was watching the Braves.
Speaking of which, I'm a baseball guy.
Right.
Night before last, the Cincinnati Reds, the night before last, the Cincinnati Reds were in San Francisco. Actually, it was a late day game. And they fell back in the ninth inning. They go to the ninth inning. They are losing 9-4.
Mm-hmm.
They come back, a Suarez grand slam home run, tie the game at 9, and win the game in extra innings on a walk-off. And it was the biggest come-from-behind win for the Cincinnati Reds since 1958. And I only say that because in 1958, some little 7-year-old boy from Huntsville, Alabama, got to go to Crosley Field in Cincinnati and see that Reds team play. So the biggest comeback, it was the first baseball game I ever went to. Played the Pittsburgh Pirates, but and I can even tell you the starting pitcher. It's Jim O'Toole, and the Pirates started Gibbon. But anyway, because that was a history, that was something that hadn't happened since the first year. It hit my heart really hard. But to see a team come back 9-4 in Major League Baseball on the road, top of the ninth inning. Ken, your son plays baseball down at Gadsden State. You don't see that a lot.
No, you don't at all. I mean, and he's a pitcher. And so when he's facing a situation like that, it gets the pitchers. It's something about them, and we talked to my son about that. You got to keep playing. You got to keep playing. You got to keep playing, because that has an effect on pitchers. And if you watch some of these major league games, you can see it.
Well, the thing too is that San Francisco's bullpen is porous, and they are the only team in Major League Baseball that has not had a 3-game sweep against any team this year.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
before we talk to Kyle, listen for all our Atlanta Braves fans that are listening. Let's not fail to mention that they had a pitcher that pitched a complete game last night too.
Well, be still my beating heart.
Chris Sale.
Yeah. Michael doesn't like to hear that, but that's, that was
109 pitches, 11 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I think 5 hits.
Coach of the Arabian Nights in here right now, Coach Kyle Routon. That's a smile on that face. I like that.
I was just waiting on my coffee.
Always special when you get that gooseneck, when you get that shutout, and to get it coming out of the boat or coming out of the gate, and to get it against Guntersville, got to be a big thrill for you.
Yeah, I mean it was good. It was good last week. Defense improved a lot. They tackled a lot better than they did in the Jamboree game. We fit a lot better. Just overall. Just flying around the field, getting multiple hats to the ball. Everything was better on that side of the ball.
Coach, talk about, if you would, the play we've all sort of pointed to that changed the whole complexion of the ball game was the 48-yard pass play that was in the third quarter. It seemed like after that it was just new energy. It was like you're on the road, all of a sudden you make a really big, splash play. And then all of a sudden, the energy, you could just feel the energy rise from that football team.
Yeah, I think we just needed a big play. The drive before that, we missed a big one, missed a post across the middle. Tucker was open. We overthrew him, and still put together a good drive after that, got to midfield, and then we had the fumble and turned the ball over. I really thought we were gaining a ton of momentum on that drive, even though we missed the big play. But we ripped off a couple runs. We got to midfield. I feel like if we don't fumble there, we kind of get that momentum, a drive before than when we did.
I know at halftime, when you talked to Chris going off the field, it seemed like you had a message to deliver to your team at halftime. I obviously don't want to know all the specifics, but was there anything special that you had seen specifically in the first half that you pointed out in the second half as a correction?
No, not really. I mean, we're just, I just talked to the guys just about not panicking, not hitting the panic button. We've been a second half team for as long as I've been here. So whenever it's 0-0, I feel really good about it for the second half, or whenever it's tied, I feel really good about it in the second half because there haven't been too many second halves that would come out and get beat in the second half. So I just, that was just a reminder to them. And then, of course, there were some corrections to be made. They kind of lined up a little different on defense. We had to change how we were blocking some things up front. And that helped out. So it was really good adjustments by the coaches at halftime. And then the kids just came out and executed.
Coach, I noticed during the game that, the first half was a trudge with the defenses. And the adjustments that you made and what you said at halftime to Chris, whenever you said that we're going to come out and we're going to blow our necks and we're going to do what we've been doing on defense. But when we get the chance to score, we got to score. And y'all did exactly that. So those adjustments you made at halftime were pretty good, just as Michael was saying. And it made that, to me, what you saw the first half put in motion what happened the second half.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we moved the ball in the first half. We got a little past midfield. I chose to fake a punt. I thought it was there. That probably wasn't the greatest call in the moment. I probably should have just pinned them with the way the defense was playing. But then, they kind of bailed me out of that situation. And our offense got put in another long situation. And, again, we moved the ball. We had, I think we ran 20 or 25 plays in the two drives that we had in the first half. We just weren't able to finish them, and that was the main thing for us in the second half, was just finishing those drives.
I thought the offensive line really, as the game goes on, they implode. They put their will against the other team. It was just a pound and lean, and then after that big pass play, all of a sudden the next 3 plays, if you watch on film, that offensive line is just exploding.
Yeah,
it was really fun to see.
Yeah, anytime you can get a spark like that with an explosive play, I mean, that was the biggest difference in the game, to be honest with you. I mean, I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I think Guntersville's biggest play was 11 yards. And so whenever you're not allowing those explosive plays on defense, high school kids are going to make a mistake. And that proved for us too, whenever we didn't have an explosive play and we didn't get chunk yards, we'd end up stalling out. So the second half, that was huge to have a couple of those bigger runs and a big pass play to kind of help us out and cut down the amount of plays we had on the drive.
Last week you said you liked starting the season with a competitor or with a rival, if you would. Now you get the big rivalry win. Did you have to say anything to the team to get them back down with their feet on the ground?
No, I didn't. I told them that this was a perfect setup for a letdown week just because of it. So we addressed that on Sunday. I didn't feel like we had any of that this week. Monday and Tuesday's practices were really, really good. And then we've made a little schedule change with, we do Wednesday mornings now on a walkthrough, and then we go back in shells on Thursday to kind of run through some things to kind of speed it back up to game speed. So kids are still getting adjusted to that schedule a little bit. So we didn't have the greatest Wednesday and Thursdays the last couple of weeks, but I think it's just a mentality thing that we got to get over. As far as we've always walked through on Thursday, and that's just something that we've got to just change our mindset as a whole program to get it to where we want it.
Coach, we talked a little bit about how it seemed like momentum shifted after that long catch. You talked about how this could be a trap week and it could be a letdown week. Ardmore is a solid football team. Did you have senior leaders kind of step up and start steering the team and getting them more focused this week?
Look, these guys do a really good job of just, we preach all the time it's the next play or the next day or the next lift or the next drill or whatever. And these guys, they do a really good job of that. They don't ever, I've never felt like we've overlooked anybody. And then I've never felt like we were scared of anybody either. They're just going to line up and play.
All right, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with the head football coach of the Arab Knights, and we will have our college pick'ems first week of the pick'ems. You ready, Coach? Are you ready for this?
I don't even know who's playing.
Oh well,
I know. Arab plays Ardmore tonight, and I know the Arab A team plays New Hope tomorrow. That's what I know.
There you go. Well, just FYI, be thinking about it. I'm gonna give you something to think about. The college football national championship is 138 days away. I want your prediction as to who's going to win it.
Jacksonville State.
We'll get that later. We'll get that officially later. Oh, boy. When we come back, more Coach's Breakfast from the Huddle House. Back after this on Fun Radio.
Insurance can feel overwhelming when you don't know who to trust. Put your trust in Alpha Insurance, where personalized service and peace of mind come standard. Stop by and see Chance Bennett. She's ready to help you review your current coverage and find the right protection for your family and lifestyle. At Alpha, you're more than just a policy number. You're part of the community. Call Chance Bennett today at 256-586-4580 to learn more about the personalized benefits Alpha Insurance has to offer.
Alpha Insurance.
A&D Motors, we got the right used cars you can trust. Come take a drive.
Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Harlow, your hometown car gal. You don't have to drive far to find a great deal. At A&D Motors, we're your locally owned, buy here, pay here dealership for over 30 years. And we stand behind every vehicle we sell. Finance with us and get a free limited warranty. Visit the car gals at A&D Motors on the Parkway in Arab, your one-stop dealership.
So come on down, let's take a spin. With A&D Motors, you're sure to win.
Warm, welcoming, wonderful. The city of Priceville is a vibrant community growing with the great Tennessee Valley. Mayor Sam Heflin and the Priceville City Council are proud to welcome new visitors, new residents, and new businesses. And there's a lot to like with plentiful amenities, abundant green spaces, and the friendliest folks in North Alabama. Modern and historic, urban and rural. The crossroads of North Alabama. Proud and peaceful Priceville. Come live with us. The town of Priceville is proud to support the Priceville Bulldogs, a special school in a special place.
There is nothing in this life more difficult than coping with the loss of a loved one. Hello, I'm Keenan Warren of Arab Stoneworks. When you are ready to look for memorial options, come see me at 671 Sundown Drive. We will sit down together and start with a blank slate. We design and produce only what you want, nothing more, nothing less. Please visit our website at arabstoneworks.com. We make custom memorials for custom individuals. Arab Stoneworks.
Marshall, DeKalb, and Jackson counties, we cover them all. Coach's Breakfast on Fun 92.7 HD1.
I'd like to welcome you back to Coach's Breakfast and invite you to have breakfast with us on a Friday, because we have a lot of fun doing this, and we invite you to be with us. Coach's Breakfast each and every week, coming to you from the Huddle House on Brindlee Mountain Parkway. Got a good crowd in here today, and of course, Coach's Breakfast, we get to talk about a lot of football. And tonight, Arabian Night Football on Fun Radio. Our pregame at 6 o'clock on senior night against the Ardmore Tigers. These teams have met 3 times before, Coach. I think you've been part of, I don't know if you've been part of all 3 of them, but I think you may have been part of one of them. But the Ardmore Tigers 1-1 against the Knights. And, of course, you get them here senior night to kick off the season. Sort of unique.
Yeah, we made that change last year. I feel like it's a good thing. You kind of kick it off with senior night. It's more of a celebration for the seniors. It's not that last game of the year. Sometimes it almost feels like a funeral because it's their last game or whatever. And in this way, I mean, one of the positives to me is it's just a kickoff celebration for the seniors in their senior year.
Coach, one thing, too, about this Ardmore team, you and Coach Snyder know each other from the wrestling mat, of all things. Yeah. He was a wrestling coach at Athens when you were the wrestling coach here, and you go back to that. This game came about, I know, because of all the weirdness of the AHSAA and the moving of Douglas back into the region and so forth and so on. This was sort of a game, I guess, that was late in coming, but I know it's something you were looking at from an old relationship.
Yeah, we'd kind of gotten wind that Scottsboro was going to move down to 4A, and then you started thinking, were they going to move somebody into our region? Are they going to move somebody up from 4A to 5A? Are you going to be stuck in a 7-team region and have to pick up another non-region game? And then, of course, Gunners was going to be week 1. It was supposed to be this week, and we were supposed to play Coleman. But you had the, if Scottsboro went down and they kept it a 9-team, that was going to make their region a region week. So there was a lot of scenarios, and I don't really like to sit around and wait. So I had about 4 different schedules planned out with different teams, and I had looked at who was going to lose those week 1 games, Ardmore being one of them. So I called Coach Snyder and kind of gave him a heads up of what I was thinking, and so we just had it penciled in for a couple weeks until they made a decision that we would pick up and play week 1 if we both lost those games. So it worked out really good. Met Coach Snyder probably, I mean, I was young. I was probably 22, 23, 24. He was actually coaching wrestling in Athens, and I was at Southside whenever we met, and then just kind of through the years know each other. But he does a really good job over at Ardmore, and those kids play really, really hard. They're sound on both sides of the ball, so we look forward to the challenge tonight.
You mentioned the word sound, and that's what I get when I've known Coach Snyder now for about 15 years, and every time I go and talk with him with matchups with other schools as well, with Brewer and some of the other schools we've covered, and you just get to feel that he's very grounded. And his football team mimics the head coach. And his football team is very grounded, and this is a tough team. But this is a team this year that has a little bit more on the skill side, with that running back, with that wide receiver, and with that quarterback. A lot to deal with.
Yeah,
preparing for.
Yeah, they got a really talented running back, and they're big up front, and then the quarterback can throw it pretty good, and he's got a couple receivers out there that he can get the ball to. So it'll definitely be a tough challenge for our defense. Hopefully they'll step up and play like they did last week.
Yeah, last week when they played East Limestone, 27-26 game. Overtime game. And they actually had 2 scores on special teams. I know that you've seen the film and all that stuff. What's your thoughts on their special team play and how we know how it affected the game because they ended up winning?
Yeah, there were several special teams plays in their game last week. The touchdowns that they had, but then East Limestone also recovered two kind of surprise onside kicks on them too. So
that's right.
So it was a big time special teams game, and that's what some of the kids don't realize how important their job is if they're on kickoff, kick return, punt return, or field goal block. A handful of plays a lot of times will make the difference in a close ball game, and sometimes those special teams are the big momentum shifters. So we got to make sure that we're on point tonight on those and do our jobs whenever the time comes.
An old ball coach down in Tuscaloosa by the name of Bryant used to say, people think this is a game of offense and defense. It's a third, offense, defense, special teams, and that comes to play. Chris, you got a question?
I do, and I want to go back to the offense of Ardmore Tigers. They're led by senior quarterback Alex King, and this guy can extend plays with his legs. He generally is looking to pass, but he's very shifty in the pocket, and he can run a little bit. Will your defense change anything to try and close down those running lanes for that quarterback?
We just got to keep gap integrity whenever we pass rush and make sure that our linebackers, the ones that are supposed to get quarterback on rollout, to make sure that they go and attack him as soon as he gets outside the pocket. And then, of course, the other ones have got to move and cover the zones and cut down the field, as he rolls. We just got to make sure we do our jobs. We've got things built in for quarterbacks like that, and hopefully we'll do what we're supposed to do and do what we're capable of and hold them down.
You got to look at one of them when you got the Geraldine quarterback. The Geraldine quarterback was a little shifty, like this guy is. I mean, he had some moves for you too.
Yeah, the Geraldine quarterback, he was a really, really good runner. They're going to be a tough team, which they proved it last week by what they did. They've got a really good offense, a running back quarterback combo. They're going to be hard to deal with.
Key to the game tonight.
We just got to block and tackle. That's going to be it every week. We want to win the line of scrimmage up front. If we can do that and we can get the running back on the ground, multiple hats of the football, I think that's going to be the key. And then, of course, we can't give up the big plays on special teams like what happened last week.
Coach Kyle Routon of the Arabian Knights. Okay, let's do the big thing now. The thing we all come here for, right? The college pick'ems. It's out. It's on. Last year, in a come-from-behind win, Coach Kyle Routon won the thing the last week of the season by one game. And so this year, Coach, you're defending your championship. And so we're going to start with you. And then I'm going to give a bonus question at the very end. So everybody around here gets a pick. So let's just start. First game, 11 o'clock on tomorrow morning. The early game from Dublin, Ireland. Oh, my gosh, there'll be a lot of people drinking that Guinness stout over there. But North Carolina and the Tar Heels, second year under Coach Bill Belichick, not to be without its controversy in the offseason for sure. North Carolina plays the Fighting Horned Toads from Texas Christian University in Ireland. Game time, 11 o'clock on ESPN. TCU is favored by 7.5. The over-under is 47.5. Let's start with Cody Walker at the top of the table. Your thoughts on this game and who's going to win?
Yeah, this was the game last year that TCU embarrassed North Carolina in that first game on a Thursday night in front of a national audience. Getting another national audience is the first FBS game of the season on TV. I think it's going to be closer. I think they're going to be under the number, but still give me TCU.
TCU, Chuck Ellis.
I'm going to go with TCU also. I agree with what Coach just said.
All right, Chris?
I'm going to go with North Carolina. We were talking about this before. I think the difference is coaching in an international format. I think Belichick's done it. I think Carolina upsets.
Carolina. Okay, what you got, Ken? I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah. So I did some research on this. And, of course, somebody's mentioned that. Last year, North Carolina outrushed them 258 yards to 50 yards. They got the same people coming back. They beat them 48-14 last year. I've got to go with TCU.
TCU, Wesley Wilson, the voice of the Fairview Aggies.
I'm going to give it to North Carolina this year. I think Bill Belichick he's got that program turned around the way he wants it. And we're going to see a classic Bill Belichick team this year.
Coach Kyle Routon, your thoughts?
I'll take North Carolina as well.
Any thoughts other than taking North Carolina?
We've all said them all.
I'm going to go with the Tar Heels only because of Belichick's second year. I think he's hacked off. I'm going to rephrase that. I think he's pissed, and I think you're going to see Carolina come out hot. All right, next game on the agenda, 2:30 game, an ACC matchup. The ACC actually starting in conference with the North Carolina State Wolfpack taking on UVA at Charlottesville. Always a tough place to play. Students just got on campus, so they haven't had a chance to get drunk yet. But a 2:30 kickoff on ESPN. UVA, Virginia is 5.5 point favorite, and a 53.5 over-under on it. Let's start with Cody Walker, North Carolina State and Virginia.
I think NC State goes in there and beats Virginia. I think Virginia's improved, but NC State is still I think they're on the way up, so I think they upset them they surprise them.
Chuck Ellis?
I'm going to go with UVA. I think that them being there at Charlottesville, it's a big tough environment. And also, for the record, Virginia did double dribble.
All right.
Between now and tomorrow, I think the students have a chance to get rowdy, so I'm going to pick UVA. It's going to be at Virginia. That's my pick.
All right, Chris. How about it, Wes?
I'm going to go with UVA. They got a transfer quarterback from, he played at Missouri last year, but he played at Penn State the year before. He's played in big-time games. I'm going to give it to Bo and UVA.
The journeyman quarterback. All right, what you got, Big Ken?
UVA, strong defense, went 11-3 in the ACC last year. I think UVA is going to take it.
Coach?
I'm going to go NC State.
A man of few words today with these picks. I'm going to go with Virginia also. I like this coach at Virginia. And I think the momentum that they've got going, they've got tougher games down the road that I probably won't be as emphatic about. But I think Virginia at home to open up in Charlottesville. The shadows of Thomas Jefferson will be showing on the football field. Have you ever been to a game at UVA? It's like Harvard Stadium. It's built just like Harvard Stadium, but they actually painted it. It's pretty nice up there. All right, so I'll go with UVA. Next game on the list, something close to a lot of people's hearts. It will be aired live on WRAB 107.1 FM, our Fun Radio family, our sister station, WRAB Classic Country. The game time will be kickoff at 4:30. Our pregame gets underway at 3:30. Jacksonville State and the Gamecocks head north to the Wild Woolies of the North Wasteland to take on North Dakota State University in the Fargo Dome. Okay, and it's not the Jackie Fargo Dome, just for you wrestling fans, okay? Big game to start out for the Gamecocks. I really applaud Coach Kelly on scheduling this. North Dakota State University, first year in Division 1A. Cody, what have you got?
I'm an underdog guy, but I can't take Jack State in this. I think Fargo Dome's just going to be too loud and too much for Jackson State. They like ugly games, and North Dakota State just doesn't make enough mistakes.
Chuck?
Well, I'm going to go with my heart on this one because I was at Auburn whenever Coach Kelly came in the class of '86 with Pat Madden, and I'm going to go with Jacksonville State, even though one of my best friends, Coach Tracy Cheek, said that you've lost your mind. We were talking after the baseball game last night, and he said Fargo Dome, North Dakota State, 35-21. But I'm still going with Jacksonville State.
With your heart and your money.
That's because my money goes to Jacksonville State because my daughter's a senior there, yeah.
Chris Greer?
You know, I want to say Jack State in this, but unless they get a time machine and bring Dieter Brock back to play quarterback for him, I don't see it happening in North Dakota State.
That is the first ever Dieter Brock reference on Coach's Breakfast in history. I like that. All right, what you got, Wes?
I'm going to go North Dakota State. I mean, they've just been a powerhouse, and it's going to be hard for Jack State to beat them.
Big Ken?
I think North Dakota has the home field advantage in the Fargo Dome, not the Jackie Fargo Dome. And they've got a good, powerful offensive line, and I think they're going to have something to prove going from FCS to FBS. I think they're going to win the game.
All right, so you've got North Dakota State. Well, Coach?
I'm going to go with JSU, even though I don't think they're going to win.
Whoa.
Fear the beak.
Fear the beak. Okay, be that way. I got to go with North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome. Jacksonville State's going to have a very good year and a very good football team. But and I applaud, again, Coach Kelly for taking this game, but this is going to be a tough one in a tough environment. The only thing that could happen worse was if this game were in November and they play in 6 feet of snow, even though it's a dome stadium.
Yeah.
All right. Next game is on the ACC network. Stanford, the Cardinal, hosting the Hawaii University, the Rainbow Warrior. They don't say rainbow anymore, I don't think, because of the Warriors of Hawaii going into Stanford Stadium. It's a 6 o'clock game, which means it's a 4 o'clock game on the West Coast. That game on the ACC network. Stanford's a 4.5-point favorite and a 48.5 over-under on the game. What you got, Cody?
I'm surprised that Stanford's a favorite in this game, because this was one last year. I think Stanford fell on their face out in the islands, and I think Timmy Chang's got Hawaii going as much as Hawaii can ever go. That's going back 20 years, so I'm going to take Hawaii in this game.
What you got, Chuck?
I'm going to say fear the tree. I'm going with Stanford.
Fear the tree. Fear the beak, fear the tree. Here we go.
I'm gonna join Chuck on that. I think Stanford rides the ship. They win.
All right, ACC Stanford.
I'm going with Stanford as well. Andrew Luck, he came in, but he's changed it to a culture that he was playing in when he played.
All right, what you got, Ken?
I'm going to go with Hawaii because I don't think they're going to be able to handle. Stanford's not going to be able to handle their passing attack. And Stanford last year only had 8 rushing touchdowns for the entire year, so I've got to go with Hawaii.
How about it, Coach?
I'm going to go with Stanford, just because I hadn't picked a home team yet.
I'm going to agree with you this time. I think Hawaii, it's always tough. They have the longest road trips in college football, without a doubt. And I love the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. I've seen them play in person twice, not on the islands, but in the mainland. But I think Stanford and the change of culture, this might be one of very few games Stanford wins this year, but I think they get the opening win. Final pick'em game is an interesting game because it's Memphis and UNLV in Las Vegas at the big stadium out there at Allegiant Stadium. It is a late game. It is a 9 o'clock kickoff on Fox in Vegas. UNLV is a 5.5-point favorite. 56.5 is your spread for the over-under. Going around the table, what you got, Cody?
I think the Running Rebs get it done. I think they're going to run away with it because I think that 5.5 is a little low. Memphis has kind of been a bit of a mess at the end of the season last year, and I think that carries over into this season.
Chuck?
I'm going with the Running Rebs of Sin City.
All right.
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to pick Memphis in this one. I think they upset.
Ooh, upset the cut.
I'm going to go UNLV. I think Jackson Arnold, he's got something to prove, so I think I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah, he does.
All right, Ken?
I'm going with UNLV. They've got a dual threat in their quarterbacks. They've got Alex Orji, I think you say his name. He's a running quarterback, and then they've got the Auburn transfer, Jackson Arnold, who's a passer. I think they're going to probably use both of them, and I think UNLV is going to win that game.
Coach?
I'm going to go UNLV as well.
Almost a sweep. I'm going UNLV because I like their coach. They should have kept him at Florida.
Yeah.
So UNLV. So there's our pick'ems for week 1. We'll have a better list of games next week. There's some really doozies next week. Mm-hmm. Final question, and this is the bonus question for everybody. Give me 138 days from now, the national championship will be played in New Orleans. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, your pick before anything ever starts, Cody Walker, who wins the national championship?
Let me throw a dart at the board and say Colorado.
Colorado. Hello. All right. Chuck, who you got?
Well, I'm going to say I'd love to be able to say that, but I'm going to go with the Texas Longhorns. I mean, hey, I'd love to be able to say Auburn, but if they go 8-4 this year, they're going to be doing good.
I'm going to hate myself in the morning for what I'm about to say right now. The Ohio State University.
Oh, man. Good pick. What you got, Ken?
I don't like what I'm about to say at all, but from everything I've seen, Texas has got a stellar football team this year.
Ken?
Well, I want to just jump out there and say my Ole Miss Rebels. I think they're going to be competitive this year, but looking at all the preseason stuff, I hate to say it too, somebody else said this, I think Ohio State's going to win the national championship.
Coach Routon, I got a feeling he's choosing Texas, I can tell.
Oregon versus LSU, and Oregon wins it.
Oh,
They're the first one.
Now, you just stole my thunder. I had the line, but you stole the thunder. I think Oregon wins the national championship.
That's a great pick.
I do. I think Oregon will win the national championship. That will make it, and this is a sin to say this on radio in Alabama, but it will be 4 in a row for the Big Ten. Think about that. 4 in a row with the Big Ten. You say LSU, I think LSU will be awesome this year. I don't know if they quite get it. My sleeper team for the national championship is Notre Dame because of their schedule. The only tough game they play.
Yeah.
Funny you should bring it up, Michael, because the top 3 in the polls this morning, Notre Dame number 1, Ohio State number 2, and Oregon number 3. That's the top 3 picks from a group of riders. You know how that goes. But
I think Oregon Notre Dame's the national championship game. I really do. Well, guys, I've had fun. I don't know about you guys. So we're going to keep these down on record. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, about the end of the season, we'll all be wrong. But we shall see how the season progresses. Coach, first of all, thank you for everything you do. The one thing I think a Coach Kyle Routon team, and I'm going to say this out loud, has shown me in the past 3 years is the class, the discipline, the organization, and what you get every week in, week out. You get what you get. There's not high highs and they're not low lows. I think that's tantamount of a very good football coach on the high school level, on any level really. And I salute you and I appreciate what you do because your team really shows the best of high school football.
Appreciate it.
All right, boys. Chuck, you and Chris, see you guys tonight at the stadium.
Looking forward to it.
Wes will have the call of the Fairview Aggie-Hayton game on 107.1. On 104.9 tonight, the Priceville Bulldogs go all the way to Springville. Had to give Bogoss directions, but they go all the way to Springville for a game, and then we'll have that game on 104.9. Following all of the games, our post-game Pulse brought to you by Playwell Performance. Ken, you got the honor of hosting that show for the wrap-up of all the scores and all the activities in high school football tonight.
And you'll be joining me on that tonight after ARAB.
Just as a special guest.
As a special guest. Cody Walker. We're letting Cody take a little vacation, I guess you could say. So